Where is everybody?
Hi.
There's Wolfie.
What
There's
what
Brian.
what am I doing here?
It's
I
not
don't know.
Monday.
And there's Ben.
Good evening.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Derek B, and welcome to the Realmhattan Project. We are finally here. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing?
Really good, man.
All right, all right,
Been better.
all right. You say you can do better.
No, I've been better. We'll get into
I
that in a
know,
few
I
minutes.
know. Don't worry. We're gonna get it all out.
It's not even that. It's more.
Okay. All right. Joining us tonight, we have a very special guest. He has been here before. He is no stranger to the Bomb Squad. First of all, let's address it right here. You
We're
know,
still doing this bomb squad.
yeah, we're doing it. Okay. So half of the Bomb Squad is out tonight. EE's got some family functions that he's doing. Gort has some technical issues going on that is preventing him from joining us right now. If it gets taken care of, he'll be back on. He'll be on with us tonight. Ricky also had a family event, and he's gonna join in on us a little bit later, hopefully. But yeah, you got me and Wolfie here, the original Bomb Squad, and we got two special guests joining us tonight. We got our man Brian Brink, who's going to be our engineer for tonight. Brian, thank you so much for helping us out tonight.
Stepping in the clutch.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
you.
Hey guys, do you want to see me eat a glizzy on camera?
You know,
Someone get a screenshot ready.
yeah. This one goes out to
Wait a
Rock.
minute, wait.
Yeah. No, go ahead. No, hit it.
Wow.
Off camera. Thank
All
you
right.
very much.
Keeping it a family show.
Leaving it to
Right.
the imagination.
Yeah, it was until now. So, but no, Brian, thanks so much for stepping in and helping us out tonight. Really appreciate it, man.
You're welcome.
And joining us tonight, as I said before, he is no stranger to the room here. He's been on with us before, and we are looking forward to having him back on to chat with us again. Mr. Ben Yee, how are
What's
you,
up,
sir?
everyone? How's it going?
Force Ghost menu, by the way.
Thanks
Yeah,
for having
Force
me on.
Ghost.
Yes. So the lighting in my room is all weird right now, everyone who's watching. So that's why I look like a Force Ghost. So I figured I might as well own it.
It's funny when you say the lighting in your room, but it's the lighting in at Mount St.
It's
Hilary.
the lighting
there.
in Autobot headquarters.
True. We're going for mood today.
Yeah, there you go.
Teletrain 1, fix some lights.
We've actually got a bar set up in the back.
Right.
We can use that bar right now.
Is McAdams there?
It's always here. In spirit.
Cool. Thank you very much. Yeah. Shout out to everybody that got that reference. So how's everybody's week going? I know it's been eventful for a lot of us. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? How was your week, Wolfie?
Just want to take a moment and just stay say it right here right now. I want to say fuck Taylor Swift.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's she do now?
She's so
hashtag
cute,
not a Swiftie.
Aw.
She's in
I
town
love
tonight,
Taylor
and
Swift.
she's bringing her mayhem and her traffic mess, causing me to sit on a bridge for an hour.
Oh, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, she's here. She's here for 2 days. She's
Really
pissed. Yeah, so that happened today. I
Okay.
didn't know if I was gonna make it home.
Oh,
So,
concert.
yes, Taylor, it is you. The problem is you.
Love
Other than
Taylor
that-
Swift, man, who doesn't love Taylor Swift other than people in traffic?
My stepdaughter said she's cringe. She does not like her.
People
Really?
in
I,
traffic
I was
like
shocked to
everyone.
hear that.
You
I
said
think-
what? You said what, Ben?
I just said people in traffic don't like anything. When you're in the traffic, you just kind of hate it all.
Mhm. Yeah, I know I do. I have a few choice words for a lot of people, and they're standing right next to me. Now, you're gonna be here for a while. Might as well just listen to it. But yeah, Wolfie, well, at least you made it home.
Yeah, I made it home to watch an awful movie, which we'll get into in a few minutes.
Yeah, we'll get into that. So ladies and gentlemen, for tonight, you saw the topic that you saw what we were going to be talking about. Um, I want to forewarn you.
Thank you, Ralphie.
Wolfie is in a unique mood
I'm on the
today
chip.
because he had to binge watch a lot of the movies that we're going to be talking about tonight.
Oh,
So
multiple
yeah.
movies.
But nah, man. Thanks.
We'll get into that.
And
Is
and
that
Wolfie, thank you for your service.
Did it
All right.
again for the
I'm just
people.
saying that. I'm
For the
saying that in
people.
advance.
Wolfie?
Huh?
Was that because you hadn't seen them before, or was it like a refresher?
All right, so we'll spoil it right now. We
Go
are
ahead. Go
talking
go into
about
it.
the Bayformers movies. If you didn't know, I had seen the original one back in '07, and I didn't see anything after that until the Bumblebee movie. So I am seeing all of this for the first
Wow.
time.
Mm.
That's a
And
very
I
different
fucking
experience.
hate all of it. Oh my god.
That's a lot.
Oh my goodness.
That's a lot in a very
Every
short
day
period
this
of
week,
time.
was a new movie, and it just got
Wow.
worse and worse. And I'm a little on edge. I don't have any alcohol in the house, so I'm taking it out on everyone.
Wow. You'd never seen all
Yeah.
those ones in the middle.
No,
Goodness.
I hadn't, because younger me was smarter, and I have proving right now that with age does not come wisdom.
Dude, that that
Oh.
last night, man. Woof.
I,
Woof.
Yeah.
I just finished that an hour ago.
Hmm.
Oh God.
Which is why he's in the mood
I
right
have
now.
thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking forward to talk. We're looking forward to talking about that tonight. Yo, Brink, how was your week, man?
It's pretty good. I had something new happen to me this week that never happened before.
What's
Okay.
that?
I passed my first kidney stone.
Oh my goodness.
Now,
Congratulations.
thank you.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
What did you
it
name
was
it?
My
it
little
was a
boy's growing up.
Tuesday. Well, I have to say, I feel like I got a little gypped out of the experience because I didn't. I felt pain coming out of
Mhm.
the kidney, traveling down my back, and I think I felt something in my groin right before. I was
Mm.
chugging a quart of water every 30 minutes once they told me what it was, and it must have come out, and I didn't even feel a thing. So people are telling me I'm really really lucky. That was
You
I
didn't
Yeah.
was
you
I,
didn't
I
feel it
was
come out. I heard that's the worst part.
maybe. Well, now I'm skeptical as whether or not I even have one. But
We're
I
men,
don't know.
folks. We
You
talk about these things.
A
You
friend
know,
of
we're
mine
Yeah.
wound
adult
up in the
men.
you
We got
didn't
it.
hospital.
you didn't hear like a splash afterward, like
No,
big rock.
nothing. And I went to the urgent care and I told people about my experience there. It's like, did they give you the strainer? Did they give you the thing that makes your pee orange? It's like, no, I didn't get any of those things. They
No
actually couldn't
medication.
confirm the diagnosis because when I gave them my urine test, they said that there was no blood in my urine. So they're like, but most likely that's what it is. But anyway,
Mm.
I got a they said, "Hey, how was your visit?" And I'm going to tell them that I didn't get the strainer. So, I mean, that sounds like half the fun. You can make a game out of it at least while you're
Right.
screaming in agony. Fortunately, I didn't have to scream in agony.
Okay.
But I was told today. I was hanging out with some people before the show.
Mhm.
They said it's not the first one that you feel, meaning maybe I've had them in the past and I didn't even know because they were like small or something. I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, scared the death out of me though. I was like, what the hell's what's hurting
This
here?
this you're making me
Yeah.
think of this picture I saw a while ago. It was this like back in the 30s and 40s before we had technology, and it showed like the guy had to get like something put in his McGillicuddy, and like they reached in there
Mm.
and they had to grab it with a little thing and pull it out that way, like medieval torture going on here.
Yeah,
Like, it just made me think of that. Thank God we've come as far as we have.
Yeah.
modern science. It's great. Other than that, hey, I'm doing good. Things are
Good.
good. Yeah,
Good. Glad you're feeling better. You
thank you.
know. Yeah. Cranberry juice is your friend during that time too. So I've heard.
Actually, I
Yeah, I've heard
got a
that too.
little water with a splash of cranberry in here right now.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Got Kool-Aid.
Nice.
Cheers.
Nice. Mr. Yee, how
What's
was
up?
your week, sir?
Good, good. I can't believe we're at Friday already.
I know.
I mean, I'm kind of fast forwarding here a bit, but just last week on Monday, I was on the red carpet for Rise of the Beasts, and
Yeah.
part of my
You
brain
on
is
the
still
red carpet?
that.
Yes, he
Yeah,
was.
I was at the red carpet event in Brooklyn where they premiered the film. Got a selfie with a bunch of my friends and Ron Perlman. Photo
Nice.
with Anthony Ramos. It was an amazing experience, and there's part of me that still can't believe I was there. So I'm still like absorbing it, even though it's a week, past at this point.
Yeah, I
But yeah, I'll
saw
talk
it.
more about that later.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I saw it. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. He's at the red carpet event in New York and didn't call me. What? Oh my goodness. Yo, where was I? So,
Knowing you
who had to
working,
go to?
you're
Ben,
always
Ben,
working, man.
I know, man, I know.
Ben, how
But
does that
no, man,
happen? How do you?
I saw your press cut of that, and it was incredible. I read the press thing, the press junket that you did on it, and it was absolutely incredible. As a matter of fact, for all of you that have not seen it, go to Ben's World of Transformers on his Facebook site. You can see it there. You can also see it. I didn't check on BWTF.com,
It's
Ben, but
there.
I know
Yep.
it's there too. So check
Video,
on.
write up, photos, the whole nine. It's all there.
Yep. Check there as well. As a matter of fact, if I go there, uh
It's a few stories down. We got a lot of news this
yeah,
past week.
yeah.
Ooh, you sure did.
Yeah, you did. You did.
I
Uh-huh. We're
don't
behind
mess
this.
around.
Yeah. No, you see, you talking about me working. Good grief. You always working yourself, my brother. Um, movies official. Yeah. So go to bwtf.com and you'll see all of the news related to the premiere that Ben attended. Man, I know you had a good time, man. You tell us about that a little bit.
Once in a lifetime, man.
Yeah.
First of all, a little bit of fun background. I didn't know I was going to be on the red carpet till about 3 hours before I was on the red carpet.
Oh
Oh,
wow.
you had
Um,
3 hours to prepare.
yeah, I didn't know I was going to be at the event till 2 days before the event. So,
Wow.
it,
Okay.
long story short, I am on Paramount's mailing list for
Mhm.
movies and trailers and things like that. So I
Mhm.
do have a PR person that every movie gets a PR person that's assigned to it, and I
Sure.
just worked with the person since I think like last year, and was just kind of nudging them, being pleasant. Whenever they sent me something, you just post a press release, you say, "Hey, buddy, threw it up here." And then as soon as I heard they were going to be doing a premiere in Brooklyn, which is where some of the movie is set, I wrote them. I said, "Look, I could just drive there. I don't need to fly out. I don't need a hotel. I don't need anything. I just if you can get me in, I just want to cover it. I don't need special anything. Just get me a seat in the back somewhere, like in the nosebleeds. I'll be happy."
Okay.
And this event was insane, just in terms of volume, the number of people that attended, both guests and press and so on. I mean, so where I was standing on the red carpet was across from the little stage where the host was interviewing the actors as they were
Mhm.
coming down the red carpet.
Yeah.
Right after they were done with that guy, they had to go through like this gauntlet of press. Like Entertainment
Mhm.
Tonight was right there. And then
Yep.
I'm sure like Access Hollywood and all those other guys were down the road. There
Right.
must be at least eight
ET.
venues
Mhm.
in that press area. And they had like the Mirage statue there, and it was all set up with like fake plants and the Rise of the Beast logo and fake rocks and stuff. It was
Yeah.
super cool. The Porsche that Mirage transforms into was there. Um, and they had decorated the brick walls on the theater or next to the theater with like graffiti like paintings of Primal and Prime with the Till All Are One written on there. I mean,
Mm.
you could tell they threw a lot of money at this. And when I had gone earlier in the day when they were starting to put it all together, of course, you know, uh, people who live in the area, they're like, "Hey, what's going on? I'm going to take photos," right? So everybody started taking photos. So they put up fences temporarily to block people because the thing wasn't ready. So they didn't want
Oh,
people, taking
That's
like
cool.
half prepared photos. But yeah, you'll get a good idea of it here. There's an embedded video, 3D print of Primal's head that was inside the theater. Let me
wow.
tell you guys something. If you're ever in Brooklyn and you have the opportunity to see a show at the King's Theater in Brooklyn, you do it. This is one of the original Palace theaters built back in the 20s. It's grand. It has a huge grand staircase, gigantic theater. It's not multiple theaters. It's just one giant screen plays the movie,
Mm.
or it's also a concert venue, lecture venue, and so on. You can kind of tell from that shot right there how grand it is. It closed in '77 when the area really went downhill, and then
Okay.
around 2010ish, they started doing a multi-million-dollar renovation. That's right around the time the area started gentrifying,
Okay.
and they finished the renovation in 2015, and it is just bonkers inside.
Wow.
And it was the perfect place to do this type of event.
You said there's no multiple theaters. They only show the one movie.
Yeah,
So is
yeah.
that like multiple times a day through for weeks and weeks at a time, or how does that work?
Um, they don't do movies as much as they used to, so they do more concerts. So they
Okay.
will. I have seen concerts where there's like a daytime and a nighttime.
Yeah.
For the movie for Rise of the Beast, it was just this one showing,
Mhm.
and it was just the premiere. They're not actually showing the movie there.
Oh, okay. So
They
just
have
a
other
one
things
shot
going.
deal.
Yeah, this was
Okay, that
just for
makes
the
sense.
premiere.
Mm-hmm.
Ben, what is
So yeah, so we're
this?
scrolling. We're on the site now, running through your pictures that you took of the
Yeah, go for
event,
it.
What is
and
that yellow thing?
yeah,
What's
definitely check
this
it
yellow
out, you
thing?
all.
Is
I
that some
like the
kind of
So
pic that you
that
robot?
took
is
with.
a Boston Dynamics dog robot that they had running around and dancing.
Oh right,
It
yeah.
Oh,
is a,
I've seen those things. That's
yeah,
the
Hmm.
those are our future overlords.
the,
Uh,
or the pets
yep.
of the future overlords. At
Well,
the very
yeah.
least.
Now tell
Uh,
us. Can you tell us what its function was when it was set up for the event, or
they're
do
doing
you
a
know?
cross promotion with Boston Dynamics. At the same time this happened, from June 2nd through I believe the 7th, they had the Optimus Primal and Optimus Prime statues in Times Square in New York
Okay.
City, and they actually did a video of that dog bot becoming an honorary Autobot. And they made the video so it looked like he was talking to Optimus Prime and Primal to like
Hmm.
convince them to become part of the group. So there's some type of crossover happening there. It was really cute.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Okay. Nice. Now, my probably my favorite photo in there is the one of you and Pete Davidson, and he'll get to it
Well,
in
yeah,
a little bit.
he's by himself. Pete Davidson, man, he
Is that the
he
Mirage statue?
really
Yeah.
loved. Oh, there's my
There's Ron
friend Brian
Perlman.
Ron Perlman. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Pete Davidson, he was so good. He just dove into the audience, and everyone wanted him to sign something. And
There he
he,
is.
yeah, there he
Mhm.
is. And he
Yeah.
just went for it. Like they basically had to pull him away to get him inside the theater.
Is that right? Yeah, I bet they
Oh yeah,
did. I bet they did. And
there's
there's
Anthony Ramos.
yeah, it's Anthony Ramos. Yeah. It was like cool dude, you know, dapper jacket he got
That's
there on.
the lobby area when you first walk into the theater. So that gives you an idea of how grand it is.
Mm,
That is
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
wow.
It's gorgeous inside.
Yeah.
Before the pandemic, I actually did a tour of it when they weren't doing a show, just to kind of
Mhm.
get a history of it and everything.
Hmm.
And it was so beautiful to see everything.
Nice.
There,
Whoa.
there's
You
you
can
get an
see
idea of
inside of the theater.
how
Oh
the
wow.
audience is set up.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
nice. That's really nice.
and they had a DJ playing on stage. There was '90s hip hop playing all day long. It was fantastic.
Right.
Sounds
Yeah,
of my
that.
childhood, man.
That makes
Indeed.
a lot of sense.
Yeah. So yeah, check your everyone check that out when you get a chance. We're gonna definitely get into talking about a lot of that tonight. And yeah, thanks so much for providing us with this, Ben. This is some great coverage.
That was super fun.
Yeah. All
Yep.
right.
You can go to bwtf.com. And
Thanks for sharing that, guys.
bwtf.com. Now, I know I know the history of this, and most of us know the history of this, but can you talk about how bwtf.com came about?
So back in mid '90s, I think
Mhm.
most Transformers fans know Generation Two was kind of waning. Even though it had been out a few years, I don't think it sold the gangbusters numbers that they had hoped it would. There was no animation really backing it up. G2 cartoon was just recycled G1 episodes, right, with the Cybernet Space
Disappointing.
Cube.
Yeah.
So Hasbro and Kenner back then eventually said, "Well, we're going to do something completely different," and they switched gears entirely and launched Beast Wars, right? And Beast Wars was so alien and different from anything we fans had seen up until
Mhm.
that point.
Mhm.
And I didn't react well to it at first, and I always admit that, as most of my friends and I did not. And we were just kids back then. What did we
Mhm.
know? But in
I was one
time,
of
once I got some of the toys in my hands, I
them.
fell in love with these things. They were so extraordinary. They were so different, but they were still Transformers. And they really did embrace the whole robots in disguise edict of the toy line, just in a very different way. So I became, on Usenet news groups, one of the biggest uh, defenders of Beast Wars. And in time, I discovered that there was these things called web pages, and this was brand new, folks. I mean, this was in the Netscape era. You know, there were no hosts like Squarespace or anything. Setting up your own web page was kind of a big deal back then because you had to have web space and so on. And I set one up on an old NYU account of mine when I was an employee there. We were given free web space back then.
Mhm.
This was
Yeah.
the ancient days of the internet when they would do something like that. And then
Well, I
eventually,
believe it was called, some of it was called Web Rings and
yeah,
Geo.
yeah,
Yep.
all
GeoCities?
sorts of
GeoCities.
GeoCities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
um,
God,
and
shout
for
out, man.
NYU, it was pages.nyu.edu slash and then whatever. So for me, it was like Beast Wars.
Yeah.
Um, and eventually, a friend of mine started renting her own server, and she said, "Would you like some space on that for your site? Then you can kind of control the server and whatever we do yourself." So I said, "Sure." I carved out a corner of on her server, rented it out, um, registered beastwars.com because I felt that was the thing to do back then. And this was, again, the young days of the internet. Nowadays, you wouldn't think to like register starwars.com, right? But back
Yeah.
then, we didn't know better. So I did that and, got tons of people coming to my site because this was the new hotness. The
Mhm.
show came on, it took off. But then eventually Hasbro kind of knocked on my door and said, "Look, we can't let you keep using one of our trademarks, for as your URL."
Mhm.
And I said, "All right." I mean, they had been friends of mine up until that point. I didn't mind. It felt right. So I said, "Do you mind if I use BWTF?" Which at the time did stand for Beast Wars Transformers. And they said, "Yeah, fine." That, they didn't care because that had nothing to do with them, right? And fast forward a decade or so, Beast Wars had kind of waned, and now you had stuff like the Unicron trilogy and so on coming out. So I said, I can't keep calling this thing Beast Wars Transformers because I'm reviewing all
Mhm.
these other toys now.
Mhm.
What is it? And it just was serendipitous that it works out to also be Ben's World of Transformers, and that's
Mhm.
what it is today.
Yeah. That's dope. I remember getting involved in your site when towards the mid season of Beast Wars. Um we had, if you remember, we would have weekly discussions on the show, on the episodes and whatnot, and we would talk about them. That's how I met Ben. And we would talk about the show. We would talk about even all the way through Beast Machines. We would talk about, and I remember specifically with Beast Machines. I remember the time when we were trying to figure out uh which one was which character was Silverbolt, and we was just guessing every week. It's got to be Thrust. It's got to be Thrust, and it ended up being Jetstorm. But and to be honest, that was the only joy I got out of watching Peace Machine, because coming on, it was having that discussion in the group. So yeah, it's a lot of history with bwtf.com, and you know, I'm sure you have archive stuff in there as well that people can reference and go back and look at some of the things that you did. If you get a chance, check out the site, and it's a fantastic site. In the chat, the Vendetta, that's Ralphie. I'm gonna go back to talking about the theater for a second. He was asking how was the sound in the theater.
Oh, it was fantastic. I won't say that it was like the Dolby theaters you can go to at AMC, those like, or it wasn't like the IMAX sound where like, your brain's being blown to the back of the theater.
Oh,
But it was
okay.
actually more like, and I think this is appropriate for the venue. It was more like sound you'd hear at a concert, right?
Hmm.
In a non-stadium environment, like in a theater. I'm trying to remember which artist. A lot of well-known artists have played there. So that like concert level. Like, if I don't know if anyone here listening, watching is familiar with like the Beacon Theater in New York City, it's that level of sound.
Mhm.
So it was great for the film. You could hear all the dialogue, all the sound effects, the music cues, which we'll get to, were very important. So definitely was very happy with the sound.
Good.
Okay. Um, so thanks for that. Thanks for that, Ben. Thanks for going through that, and really appreciate that. Check out the site when y'all get a chance. Um, to keep it moving, today, the week was pretty cool. It was a standard week, with work and stuff to do during the week, and but I capped off the end of the week to start off Father's Day weekend. And first of all, shout out to all the fathers out there in the realm that's watching right now. Happy Father's Day weekend. I started out my Father's Day weekend at Awesome Con in DC.
Wow. I want to
Yeah.
go to that someday.
Yeah, it's a cool event. It's not specific to anything at all. The main thing is that they pull out a lot of entertainers out there, like this weekend. They got Billy D. Williams. They got the few members of the Lord of the Ring cast, Sean Astin,
Hmm.
Andy Serkis.
Elijah Wood was there, huh?
Yeah, Elijah Wood's
I
there
got the website
too.
in front of me.
Right, yeah, and Billy D. Williams is there. LeVar Burton's going to be there tomorrow. I'm looking forward to meeting him. And Karen Gillan is going to be there this weekend as well. She,
I see
as you
that.
know, she is Nebula in Guardians of the Galaxy, in the
Fantastic
Guardians of the
lineup.
Galaxy movie. Yeah, and she was also in Jumanji, the new Jumanji movies.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting her too. So yeah. Um, yeah, I had the kids in tow today. Sean had to work today, so she couldn't make it out with us, but she's coming out with us tomorrow and for the rest of the weekend. And but yeah, we had a blast for the short time we was there today, because Friday is a day you go to just experience everything, just look around and see what's going on, and because it's a low crowd, it's not going to be as packed as like the Saturday is going to be. Um, it's your perfect opportunity to go and scout for things, and see if you want to pick up something in particular. Reach out to, if you want to get something, if you want to do like commissions with artists. That's the best time to actually go there. I saw Dan there too. Dan Connor, he's
Oh,
there as
great.
yeah, he's there as well. Yeah, and most people know him as a tremendous Transformers artist, as well
I
as other genres as well.
I've got a couple of his prints actually.
Yeah,
He was at
yeah, yeah,
RetroCon
I
years
love
ago
working with Dan.
before I
yeah,
even knew you guys. He was there.
Hmm.
yeah.
You know, yeah.
Before I knew you guys, I
Yep.
knew Dan.
That's
'Cause Dan
well,
goes
I
way.
met him,
Dan
I
is
should
part of
say.
history too. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So I didn't get a chance to talk to him yet. He was talking to a couple of people, so I didn't want to, um, disturb his groove or anything like that. But I'll definitely see him tomorrow. But it's the perfect. But Fridays for that show is the perfect opportunity to go and do that stuff early. If you want to meet some of the stars that are going to be there for Friday, it's best to do it on Friday versus Saturday because the lines are going to be longer.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, and then when you get those commissions in today, they're definitely ready by mid Saturday. Oh, they're pretty much guaranteed to be ready by mid Saturday. But when you're doing commissions on Saturday, you got to wait till, sometimes, depending on the artist, you got to wait until all the way to the end of the show on Sundays to
Yeah.
actually pick that stuff up because it'll be ready. So yeah, Friday is the best day to go. So
Uh,
yeah, it was
Derek,
great.
quick
Yeah.
question. Is it like a Comic-Con? Like, so there's obviously going to
It's
be a dealer room, right?
if
You're going
you
to have your artist alley.
Yes.
Are there panels and things like that as well?
Yes, they do panels as well. It's not as popular as the New York and San Diego ones.
Hmm.
However, I would actually rate Awesome Con as a mini New York Comic Con
Okay.
in a sense, because it's not as, because it's the DC Convention Center. It's not as large as the Javits Center. The DC Convention Center is probably a quarter of the size of the Javits Center. It's like
Mm.
one section of the Javits Center, whereas the Javits Center is 4 times as big as the DC Convention Center. So that gives you a picture of how, if you all are familiar with the Javits Center, I know you all are. If you're familiar with the Javits Center, you know the Javits Center is like I said, 4 times as big as the Washington Convention Center, and the Washington Convention Center is actually still pretty big. So, and they have 2 levels of things going on, but everything is in the main floor. Everything on the main floor is on the main floor. They have their panels in different areas, but I don't really go there for the panels. I go there because a lot of my friends are there. A lot of I got a lot of artist friends that are there. A lot of people that have booths and whatnot that I've generated relationships with over time. I go there to see the cosplayers because I got a bunch of friends that are cosplayers,
Hmm.
and go to there to support them. And yeah, and then also the other plus is going to see the famous actors that you thought you'd never meet in real life. Um, to give you a rundown of people that I've met in the past, and I've actually posted pictures on my you'll see these pictures on my Facebook as well. I met Aaron Gray and absolutely fell in love with Aaron Gray, and Aaron Gray is from Buck Rogers and Silver
Yep.
Spoons, and met
Oh
Travis
man.
Love. He was on The Walking Dead, and he was also in Black Panther as one of um, 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 Jabari's not Jabari, M'Baku's one of M'Baku's soldiers.
Hmm.
Met Ernie Hudson. Met Ernie Hudson there
Oh
with,
yeah.
and they had the Ecto One there, and he was the only Ghostbuster there. But honestly, that's all you needed because it was just that much fun to experience. So me and my son Ricky took a picture with him. It's a lineup of people that I've met in the past that we've had an absolutely great time meeting, and there was the guy there was, I can't remember his name, but he was in Marvel's Agents of Shield, the first couple of episodes. Bald head guy. Y'all know who I'm talking about. If you saw him, I can't remember his name, but
What show?
uh, Marvel's
Oh shit.
Agents of Shield, Agents of Shield when it was on ABC
Yeah.
back in the day. Yeah. He wasn't a main character. He was one of those guest characters that came on every now and then, but he was on like the first 3 to 4 episodes because of his role in the show. But the black guy, he was a brother.
Henry Simmons.
No, it wasn't Henry Simmons. Henry Simmons came later
I'm
in
just.
the show,
I
but
got the
this
cast
is
in front
like
of me.
season
I never
one.
watched the show.
Yeah, yeah. Again, Agents of Shield is another dope show too. You got to check that out. I believe it's 7 seasons of that show. Um,
Oof.
but yeah, but like I said, it's your opportunity to meet the stars that you thought you'd never meet before, and the lines are pretty decent. They have an autograph section and a photo section. They have a section that they do autographs. They have a booth up there for, and then they have a photo op section off to the side where they take the stars over there so you can take your pictures with if you want to do professional photos. They do offer to do selfies with your phones at their autograph booth, and you pay the whatever the fee is and all of that good stuff. But yeah, if you look at my Facebook page, I took a picture of me and my kids. We went there today, and
I saw that.
and I was like, yo, because they go to Awesome Con with me all the time. And I took the first picture I took with them was like years ago when they were little, and I posted that picture from years ago and compared it to the picture that we took today. It was like, time flies. That was back when I didn't have this all this gray, and I was a lot younger back then, and I was, had more energy
When
to,
things didn't
take
hurt
them
so
places.
much.
Now they gotta look. Now they gotta hold me up when we're walking when we're walking the aisles and everything. I was like, all right, let me rest for a second. So, but no, we had an absolutely great time tonight, and they got to see some people that they've seen before over the years, and it was a great kind of like reunion for the local community. So So yeah, it's a very fun time. I'm going to be there all weekend. So if you're going to be if any of you are going to be at Awesome Con this weekend, definitely look me up. I won't be hard to find. Okay. All righty. So let's get into it.
Hold on, real quick. Can we see
Okay.
the chair again? You got to show the people the
Oh,
chair.
so okay, so Sean had bought these chairs. We had saw these chairs when we was in New York Comic Con with Ben last year, and I'm gonna take one out. We saw them online, and we was like, "Yo, we need these," because when we go out to these cons, it's like when you're standing in
Hey.
lines to do certain things. Hey, Gort, what's up, buddy?
Gort.
Hey, you back in
What's up,
business,
Gort?
huh?
Yes, it's been a
Nice.
long, terrible day. I
Feel that.
So did you tell them what was going on?
Yeah. We're talking about the power situation. Yeah. But
Alright,
no,
so
how was it? Yeah, go ahead. Just talk about it real. Yeah, go ahead and talk about it,
well,
man.
look, power's back. I went and opened up the fridge and the freezer for the first time. I didn't want to do
Mhm.
that earlier, but
Oh, okay.
everything looks good. The ice is a little, ice cube tray's a little fucked off. Let
Oh,
it freeze and
of
dump it
course.
later.
Yeah.
But everything else looked okay in there. Not there
Good.
wasn't too much, but
How long were you without power?
I don't know. I woke up around 1 or 1:30 today, and
Oh.
it was out, like, when I woke up. I
Out
went
while you were
upstairs
asleep.
to take the dog out. I slept in the basement, so it's already dark down here. I didn't notice the difference, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
So I
Right.
don't know,
Oh, okay.
but right about then is when I
Man,
found
I'm glad everything worked out. I'm glad everything's restored, man.
Yeah.
It's good to
Yeah.
have
No,
you on.
I'm happy it's back. I'm happy I don't have to replace the whole fridge worth of food.
Yeah.
I'm happy to see Ben's here. I'm happy to Brian was able to get the show going,
Yeah.
very appreciative of that.
All
And
right.
so tell me where you guys at right now? What's happening?
So we were just finishing up our banter, and we was talking about our weeks, and I was getting into talking about this little doohickey right here.
What's that?
So
This is our
we
showcase,
were at
by
New
the way.
York Comic Con last year, and saw somebody with this. They were using it to sit when we were standing in lines waiting for photo ops, and we was like, "Yo, that's a good idea." And we was like, you get it on Amazon. A couple of weeks ago, we saw it on a Facebook ad, and I know, you got to be cautious with a lot of the Facebook ads because a lot of them
Yeah.
are scams and everything. But we took a
Mhm.
chance on this one because it was like, yo, we've seen it before, we know it exists, so let's go ahead and try to get one. So she got two of these. So what this is a stool. I'm gonna hold it up against me like this so I can stretch it out.
What?
Yeah,
It's magic.
I love that.
yeah, it's a stool.
Okay.
You sit on it. It's a portable stool. You sit on it. We actually got it with the cushioning because we was like, why not? But
Deluxe model. Why
it
not?
doesn't come standard with the cushion. You had to buy the cushion with it. But basically, it extends out to different levels of depending on how you want to sit. But this is the tallest it goes out,
How
and
do you
it's
lock it in
sturdy.
place?
It holds up to 550 pounds.
That was
That's
gonna be my
bonkers.
question. Did you see a 500-pounder sitting on it before you bought it?
The lady that we saw sitting on this, we were like, yeah, we getting these. If it can hold
Okay.
her, it was I'm not trying to be offensive or anything
I
like
know.
that. I was
But
just
look,
putting it into perspective. It was like, yo, yeah, we definitely
yeah,
need these.
like
So
I'm not
and
500 pounds, but I check weight limits on like if I'm buying a
Yeah.
ladder and stuff now.
yeah, they
Mhm,
said
mhm.
550. This holds up to 500. This holds up to 550 pounds. I'm half that. So with this one, but this particular one, it comes with a charging base. Where'd it go?
Right.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. It's a charging base. It's a charging battery charger on here too for your phone. So if you're sitting there and you got to charge your phone too, you can charge your phone with this. But you got to, you got to of course charge it overnight for it to work and all that type of stuff.
God.
So,
Just,
so yeah.
honey, did you remember to charge the chair before we left?
It's
Sentence
50
I never
bucks.
thought I'd say.
This is $50. So yeah, and that was actually on sale. So if you see the Facebook ad on it, just check it out. And they give you a coupon because it's Father's Day weekend. It was like an extra 20% off, and so it's actually 70% off to bring it down to $50. So
Ralphie's on Amazon right now looking for it.
I know he
Yeah.
is. So yeah, but yeah, that's that. And yeah, looking forward to you. I'm looking forward to using these tomorrow.
Derek, what was
So
it called again?
it's called a collapsible chair. No, I got the paperwork. I got the paperwork. It's upstairs because I
Gotta
took it
put that
out the
link in the
box and brought
groups.
it down
Everyone's gonna
here.
want one of these.
Yeah. Oh, it's called Create. Yeah, it's Create. It's CRE8.com. That's the site. If I remember correctly. It creates sound. It's Create Sound. Yeah.
There's a ton of these on Amazon.
CRE8SOUND.com. But yeah, you can actually get these on Amazon. But the thing about it is, this is the only company that does it with the power bank.
Gotta have power.
So you can get it on Amazon for like 24, 25 bucks. But yeah, that was the only caveat to that. And we saw that you couldn't get the you couldn't get those chairs with the power bank, and it's actually a beneficial feature for this. So yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'd be
yeah,
more happy to have the cushion than the power bank because that you could just get separate too.
yeah,
Nice to
yeah.
get it all in one though.
The
regardless.
cushion, I think the cushion was like an additional 20 bucks, I believe.
There is one on eBay that has the power brick.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry,
That's eBay.
Amazon. Excuse me, Amazon.
Oh, okay. Okay. So yeah. But is it 50? How much is it?
$41.99.
How much is it?
$41.99.
Okay, yes, it's close to 50. Yeah. All right.
Arcwares,
And
portable
then
chargers.
the ones on Amazon too. This one doesn't do it, but they have ones that are, you can rock from side to side and then not they stretch a bit. So yeah, you got those too. But anyway, I don't want to spend the whole show talking about that seat, you know. So
Pay for that
but
plug.
yeah, let's get into the topic for tonight. So we've gathered everyone here tonight to talk about the Transformers Rise of the Beast movie that came out last week. Now, I'm just going to say this right now. This is going to be heavy spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie at this point and it's been out for more than a week, it's your fault. So now that we got that out the way, let's go ahead and get right into it. But I wanted to do it a little differently because I wanted to talk about how we got here in regards to the Transformers movie verse. Okay. So we're going to take the opportunity to talk about the 2007 movie. No, we will not be talking about the 86 movie in this discussion tonight. Everybody knows without question that the 86 movie was the was the best movie that our generation experienced during that time. And that goes without question. But I am not going to use that movie to compare to these movies because you can't possibly do that with that. So we're going to leave the 86 movies out of that, and we're going to start with the 2007 Bayformers movies that extend all the way up to now. So let's talk about 2007. 2007 to me was good because I was excited about a Transformers movie in general when it comes to the movie verse and seeing these bots live. You know what I mean? So I was excited for that. And I gave the first one a pass because although it didn't stay on target when it comes to the storyline that I was looking for. It was still enjoyable to see these bots in live and in living color. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what it was for me. Wolfie, what was it for you? Okay,
That's what it was.
good. What was it for you?
No, it just
no.
I-
Let
know
me
what?
give him a
I
chance.
haven't
to talk
watched
about
that first one for a while, but
Mhm.
I remember when it came out. I was excited by the marketing. I was excited to go to it. I think I saw it at midnight, and I remember buying the DVD, and we watched it at college a bunch of times. And
Mhm.
it, I love John Turturro. Maybe too much John Turturro. Maybe too much of a lot of things in that movie.
Mhm.
I'd be curious how it holds up for me now, but I never felt it was a bad movie. It's like something a bit vanilla. It didn't have enough robots, I feel like, but that's the problem going forward. I thought there might be room to grow that, and that movie just as a standalone, I think was a good place to start.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
All right. Wolfie, you were saying
No, I mean, like everyone, I was looking forward to a live action Transformers movie. Like, holy shit, it's happening. It's great. Can't see what they come up with, and they came up with something I wasn't crazy about. I mean, this is gonna be a theme for me with all the movies. I was not crazy about the designs. A lot of them were just it just looks like they threw a bunch of metal, made a mountain, and welded it all together for me. Especially Starscream with his little
yeah,
coat
yeah.
hanger coat hanger arms there.
Right,
Um,
right, right.
uh, I'm sorry, Shia LaBeouf, not into him. Just too goofy for me. Megan Fox was not a great actress in any of these. The two of them she was in. Um, just I don't know, man. It wasn't for me. It's just I walked
Okay.
out kind of, and that's why I didn't go see the other ones for the next few years.
Okay, they
Mhm.
and which explains why you did what you did before we came on here. And for those of you, again, I talked about this at the beginning. Wolfie took the time to watch the second one, which was the second, third, fourth, and fifth one consecutively before we got to this show. And I think Bumblebee was included in that one too, right?
You'd
I
already seen it?
I'd seen Bumblebee, so I didn't go back. I didn't have time for that one,
Okay.
but I
All right.
remember enough. I remember enough of it,
Okay.
so it's fine.
Okay. And so Revenge of the Fallen, and you saw Revenge of the Fallen, Dark of the Moon, Age of Extinction, and Last Night. You watched
Yeah,
those. Okay. And which explains the look on your face.
I didn't
So
watch them. I hate watched them.
yeah. Okay. And we'll get into that too. Brink.
2007 movie. What was that? I was 30 years old when that came out, and at the time, I was a lot less disgruntled as I am now with things, changing from my nostalgic memories.
Mm.
I liked the movie. I think I saw it twice in theaters. In fact, when they did the encore showing last year, or was it earlier this year, I went to the theater to see it.
Oh, is that right?
Um,
Okay.
yeah, the story of a boy in his car, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
But like I said, Wolfie, I'm gonna disagree with you on some of the things. Like,
That's fine.
I actually laughed at some of the stupid things. I think Shia LaBeouf is an incredible actor, believe it or not. Like the stuff that he pulls off with these characters that they ask him to portray, I I, I find it hard pressed to find any other actor that could do that as good as he did. Like the
Mm.
that awkward teenager type of thing. Too bad he turned out to be like he went like nuts, right? But
What's he up to now, anyway?
I have
Just
no idea. But
I have no idea.
I think some of those give and take scenes with the other actors in the first and second Transformers movie are just awesome. Um, I know that's a weird hot take on that, but the
No, not weird at all.
but some of the stuff was dumb. I remember sitting there and being like, all right, I'm just gonna give it up, and I'm not gonna be a stickler for the fact that these don't look like the Transformers that I know. 2007, I distinctly remember though being very excited for seeing hearing Peter Cullen's voice as Optimus Prime again,
Mhm.
because it had been a long gap since
Yeah.
that occurred, if I
since
remember
the '80s,
correctly.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because obviously we had Gary Chalk doing the Armada series and things
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
that. Um, and I remember just sitting there, just absorbing it, and when that scene came in where Sam is running, he like knocks Michaela off her bike or something like that, and that that was it Smashing Pumpkins or was it Linkin Park, whatever. They're under the overpass, and all of a sudden, like Barricade comes chasing after them, and I'm
Yeah.
Yeah.
just like, all of a sudden, my heart starts racing, and I'm pumped. And it's like I haven't seen a lot of Michael Bay movies. I'm sure a lot of them are like that, but I just remember
Mm.
being like, okay, this movie has me now, and I'm ready.
Mm-hmm.
kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And so, other than that, I mean, I can nitpick it to death on the other stuff, but I thought it was generally a pretty fun movie.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Ben, what you got?
So my first experience with seeing any of the footage from the 2007 film predated the release of the film probably about 3 or 4 months. I
Okay.
was invited to an event by Hasbro that was being held in Manhattan,
Okay.
and it was the first footage outside of like the movie studio being shown.
Okay.
And they got all of us into the theater, and we didn't know what to expect. They didn't set it up at all. They just said, "We're going to show you like 10 minutes of footage. Enjoy."
Mm.
And what they did was they showed us the scene towards the beginning where Blackout flies to the military base, lands, transforms, attacks, that whole battle sequence up to that big energy wave where they, fade out of the scene.
Right. Right.
And up until that point, we hadn't seen anything, hadn't heard anything. They hadn't
Mm.
released images of what these characters were going to look like. Um, and of course, Blackout never names himself in that scene. So we didn't even know who we were looking at, right?
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, it was visceral, this experience, because hearing the transformation sound, the G1
Yep.
transformation sound
Yeah.
blended in with his transform,
Mm.
watching all the parts of the helicopter break out and kind of recombine into the robot form was absolutely incredible. And seeing it with, it was like a mixture of like Paramount people, Hasbro people, Fun Publication people. It was a bunch of us just, so pretty much all fans of some sort of
Yeah.
this project.
Yeah.
And the audience was just losing it, especially during the transformation sequence. That got the
Mm-hmm.
biggest cheer because that was the first time I think a lot of people in that room had seen what a live action transformation was going to look like.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So
Mhm.
I went in months later seeing the film, now having seen the trailers and all that, just hyped because I knew I wanted to at least see that scene again.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, I rewatched that scene on YouTube recently, and it still grabs me. It's so well set up. The foreshadowing, the sense of menace as he's approaching the base, as it lands. And then as soon as you hear that first click and whir of him about to transform, even though you've seen the scene 100 times, you know what's going to happen. You're still like, oh my God, what's going to happen here? And I think that carried through multiple viewings. I saw the movie in theater at least 5 times.
Wow.
I saw it twice with friends, and then 3 times on my own because there used to be a theater near me. Just think about 2007. It was a while ago. There was a local theater near me that had
Mm-hmm.
$5 shows before like 4 o'clock. So a couple days, like I just leave work early, or on a weekend, I would just, go to the gym, get some lunch, and then just go to this theater, throw down $5, have some popcorn, and generally it was just me and like maybe two other people in the theater at that hour. And it was just kind of fun. It was like it's like, oh, this is like my living room, and I got this giant screen to watch this on. And man, I
Mm-hmm.
gotta tell you, the humor did work for me, even though I completely acknowledge it was very juvenile and silly. um, the acting was you had this huge range because your talent had such a huge range, right, in terms of the actors. um, I don't think this was Shia or Megan's best work. Shia definitely did better movies.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to see a good Megan Fox film, watch Jennifer's Body. She's spectacular in that.
Oh, okay.
um, and the robots were definitely not what I expected, especially Dorito Scream and so on. But um, you know, I think because Beast Wars had already trained me years prior not to expect every iteration of Transformers to be like G1. It
Right.
had taken me so out of it, and then and by that point, we had watched the whole Unicron trilogy, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
Megatron, depending on which one of the shows you looked at, looked
Mhm.
nothing like Megatron that we grew up
Exactly.
with.
Yeah.
Um, Smokescreen was definitely not a race car in that show.
Mhm.
you
Nope.
know,
Right.
Wheeljack was a bad guy in Armada. I mean, the list
Mhm.
goes on and on. So I think my brain had been trained at that point. Like, okay, so in this particular timeline, this is how the Transformers look, and it
Yeah.
literally has nothing to do with any other timeline. And
Yeah.
I'm fine with that, which is why I'm a big fan of multiverse stories where, okay, you guys, you stay in your own lane, you do your own thing. As long as I don't see, G1 Bumblebee fall out of the sky into this movie, I'm good. So it stayed consistent within its own rules.
Okay.
I think it is also the first movie is the best example of what Bay can do with Transformers. I think later on there was a lot of lost focus, and
Yep.
and the worst example was in The Last Night,
Okay.
because that movie is all over the place, and we can talk about that more when we get to it. But
Yeah.
I want to see a good example of a Michael Bay directed Transformers film. '07 is the one you watch.
Yep. Yep. And we're going to do a deep dive into Michael Bay and his concept and his idea for the whole franchise as we talk about this. Um, so yeah, that's 2007 in a nutshell. That's good. That's good. Let's keep it rolling. Let's talk about Revenge of the Fallen. My you were talking, Ben, you spoke on losing focus on some of the things when it comes to the concepts. Um, my thing with Revenge of the Fallen, and sort of sometimes with even the 2007 movie, it lost its fire when it came to the storytelling. To me, I felt like it was all over the place. This was the moment where Sam was going to college. He's starting his next journey in his life, and he's going without Bumblebee, and this is him and Michaela is going to be split apart for a while. This is basically your typical teen going to college type scenario,
Yeah.
and then something new comes along. Megatron is resurrected, and you know um that story comes out, and and they introduce the Fallen, which is uh essentially the story of the 13 primes. So um I got lost. And the reason I think the reason why I got lost in that movie, because it was a lot of explosions and fighting, and then it was just a whole lot going on at one time. And I was just I guess I was just distracted. The movie itself to me was just a large distraction, and I lost what the actual means of the movie was. Plus, even before that, uh the language changed when it came to the bots. uh you had these two bots. I can't even remember their names at this point, but it
You're
was the
talking
ice
about
cream
Mudflap and
truck.
Skids, aren't you?
Huh?
Mudflap and Skids.
Yes, Mufflack and Skid. Oh
Oh,
man,
oh man.
that was brutal.
Oh,
And
yeah, I
I
feel
was like,
physical pain.
yeah, I was like,
Yep.
why? What's with these two?
But at least
This
they never
is
showed up again after that movie.
No, they didn't,
Yeah,
because they got drummed out. Actually, no one was having that.
no.
But it was just like, I got excited about, because I was getting excited about because those were the first two bots you saw, because they were getting ready to do a raid, and those are the first two bots you saw because they combined into an ice cream truck. And then you had RC, Ironhide, and I believe a Sideswipe come onto the scene to battle some of the Decepticons that were on there, which were basically this large robot that was basically two pieces. Again, we're back to how these robots look and what their functions was. The Decepticon, the way they did the way they do the Decepticons in all of these movies, the designs just make no sense. You can actually kind of get it with the Autobots, because you know the Autobots, you're getting a lot of backstory with them, and there's no distraction. You're not looking at the fact that, for me at least, I wasn't looking at the fact that this is a mangled up looking robot that doesn't look anything, because you got parts all over the place. You can see them all over the place. You can see the guts and all of that type of stuff, and you're paying attention to that. But because the Autobots were the main characters, they focused on a lot of their story. Whereas the Decepticons, you weren't focused on a lot of their story because you had a lot of add-on Decepticons that had no function whatsoever other than just to be on the screen.
Be
So
the cannon fodder for the moment,
exactly.
Yeah.
So and that's what in these Bayformer movies, the Decepticons in general were always made. The majority of them were made to be cannon fodder because they were made to be destroyed. They were made to be forgotten about later on. And we, if they were blown apart or eradicated from the story, you didn't even care, But the Autobots you paid much more attention to because you were invested into that particular story. So Revenge of the Fallen for me, and there's a lot, and I know y'all are going to delve into it too. For me, it was just a lot of distraction, and I couldn't get I couldn't get I couldn't get a grasp of what the actual story was. The Matrix was introduced into this movie, and it was this, again, character design. It's not the Matrix that we used to seeing, um, but at the same time, it was what it was. So, Wolfie.
um,
Do you have
you
notes
know,
there, Wolf?
I actually I
Look.
took. Yes, I have my phone next to me. I have notes. They're very hateful. No, I feel like if I had watched these again back when they came out in my younger days, I probably would have enjoyed them a little bit more. But as I've gotten older, I've become like more logical thinking. As part of my job, I have to be that
Mhm.
logical. So I'll watch things like not like you guys might do it. Like I'll see something and I'll be like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Why is like why what and how did Noah not notice a giant metal machine in a pyramid? Like what is this?
What is nuts?
No, and I, I'll ask questions
Yeah.
and I'll keep it to myself. I try not to annoy people with my questions if I'm watching with anybody. But I don't know. And even the humor, it's like, yeah, I might have laughed at that 15 years ago. Now it's just like,
Mhm.
God, shut up. Just
Right.
Yeah.
please
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
mud flap and skid. Go. I don't need your comedy act.
yeah. It's
Right.
like
Get Wheelie off my screen. I just
yeah,
Right.
I'm sorry. I am that old man yelling in a cloud, right? And I hate that.
yeah.
That's
And
Mhm.
just what I've evolved into.
Wolfie,
Yeah.
that's where I see the difference between 2007 and the Revenge of the Fallen. It's like you're trying too hard to be funny. Just have funny
Yeah.
characters, right?
Yeah,
It's a problem in a lot of movies nowadays.
A lot, and just quickly, but a lot of the humor that was in that first movie felt natural to the
Yes,
situation and
it
not
did.
forced. Like they
yeah, and
didn't
I feel like they really
do it
got
like
away from that as they went on. It was just like shoved it in there. Here's the two little small bots. I don't even remember their names anymore, but they threw them in there and jokes. Like it's almost like Love and Thunder. It was just like thrown in there, and you didn't have a chance to breathe. It was just
Yeah.
one thing after another, after another, and yeah, it just wasn't working for me. And one other thing I've noticed in these movies is Megatron in general was not a large force in these movies,
Mm.
especially in this one. Like in this movie, he's working under the Fallen, and in the next one, he's working under Sentinel Prime. He's not really in
Mhm.
these movies. Not much of a focus.
Mm.
Um, I don't know. It's almost like he's just there to be there. Like he's just a
yeah.
name value you want to see, and he doesn't really do that much. He's
You want to know where you
taking
get the
orders from
best
people.
of you get the best of Megatron when you go to Universal Studios and the guys
Yeah.
walking around on top.
Yeah.
And that should
I
not be a better Megatron than what's in the movies.
Right. Yeah. You get it. Dude, the last time I was at Universal Studios, man, I got an absolute kick out of Megatron because it's like he's insulting
Yeah.
everybody that comes up
I've
in the
heard that.
line.
Yeah.
And,
It's fun.
it's just allowed, and no one thinks of it. No one even pays attention to it because he's just straight. Oh, man. I saw the last time we were in Florida for Universal Studios and he roasted this one lady. Oh man. Oh, it was freaking brutal. But I was sitting there almost peeing my pants laughing at Megatron. It was just so funny. But to your point, yeah. Yeah.
That ride at Universal is better than I think some of the movies. Like
Right.
a lot of challenge,
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah. I love that ride. I love that ride. As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
that one year that Bicon had rented out the entire park in Cali, uh, we rode that ride at least 30 times because it was just like, you can. It was a fast lane for us, the BACON members, the entire day, and we rode that ride like 30 times. It was great. It was absolutely great. Um, but yeah, but Wolfie, keep going.
That's
Oh,
all
is
you
that
need.
it?
Move on. Yeah.
Okay. Gort, do you have anything to add?
Also,
I
the
mean,
Fallen and all the Primes look like Bionicles.
Right.
definitely the Fallen. Yeah.
I noticed them. All the
Yeah.
Primes and in the Fallen looks like Bionicles.
Mm-hmm.
Now you
Mm-hmm.
brought up something with the logic, and look, I haven't seen it for a while, but the thing that was shoved into Megatron's chest to kill him in the first movie is
Yeah.
shoved into his chest in the second movie to bring him back to life. You're already starting it on the wrong foot,
That's that's
Yeah.
another thing, man. The frequent resurrections. Just
Well, yeah,
Shoot.
both him and
we'll
Prime
Dude,
get
get
there.
resurrected in that movie.
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
don't
yeah.
don't
Yeah.
talk to me about frequent resurrections. Have you seen Fast and the Furious? Any of those movies? Dude, it's just like, yo, I
Space
know we're
car.
not talking about that, but okay, I just had to throw that out there real quick. But yeah,
It's something
yeah,
baffling to me too. Like I have like things that just stand out in my mind from it. Frank Welker did the Soundwave voice, but they didn't do the modulation on it. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like when he's
Yeah,
the
he
satellite.
did the Doctor
Why?
Claw voice with no modulation.
Yeah, why? Like you
That's
had
that's
sound
that,
effects
that's
for
that's the thing, man.
everything
You
else.
want to
Why not
hear
the one
that.
thing you needed it for?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you want to hear that. I mean, like, all right,
You
he's not going to be a
do.
boombox. I
Do.
completely understand that. That doesn't make any sense. But give us the voice.
Yeah.
Give us
Yeah,
that much at least.
Like
yeah,
if it's not going to look like it and you're going to give it a different name, at least give us the sounds, give us the voice, give us something. But like the Matrix, like I thought the Matrix design was okay. Like it was something interesting to look at, but why does it need to be so different? Like I know why the vehicles and the robots are different. Like I get that, but I don't know. That
yeah.
movie's a sloppy mess. They blame it on the writer's strike, but then I saw the third, the fourth, and the fifth, so I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, excuse ain't working,
Right.
buddy.
I
I was gonna ask if I think that was the movie that was done during the writer's strike.
yeah,
Is better bad. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's I think the weakest movie. Like the Marky Mark movies, like I hear a lot of criticism for those too, but I can enjoy things in those a lot easier than the other one. Like Revenge of the Fallen is like the last one I'll want to watch again.
True.
I've probably seen it twice all the way through. Like the other ones I've seen a handful of times.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Brink.
Right?
Yeah. I don't have much to say on this one. I was gonna bring up the writer's strike because this movie is terrible. I think I've only seen it twice, and I will not go back and watch it again. I did like the scene where uh, Sam and Michaela are bickering while they are running for their lives, like on college campus. They're like hiding under a table or something like that, and going back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
That really cracked me up. Like I said, I've already talked about my admiration for Shia's acting for that character
Mm-hmm.
and scenes like
Mm-hmm.
that. The only other one that I really part of that movie that I really liked was when Optimus was in the woods and he is just going nuts and beating Decepticons to death until they kill him. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
And that was
the-
Blackout again, right?
Mm-hmm.
In
Yep.
in that forest too.
Yeah.
I
I
remember
think he
getting
was
killed in the
called
first one.
Grindor in that movie.
Is it?
Yeah.
Was it? Was it?
I don't know.
Okay.
but it was such a like, yes, we're getting that moment. It's the '86 movie moment, right? When Optimus comes to save the day, kind of thing, and then just what was it? That went through his back, right? And like,
Yeah.
right, yeah. Ugh. And then I was like,
Yep.
here we go again, '86 movie again.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
But it was like
Runs.
it was the '86 movie and the season 3 and the end of season 3 all rolled up into one for this particular movie because they
Yeah.
brought him back to life with the Matrix.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the human acting in that one, the lady, the lady that in the beginning, like the Secretary of State or something like that, and she
Oh,
got
yeah.
on my absolute no, I'm sorry, nope, that's Dark of the Moon. We're
That's the
not
next
talking
one.
about that yet. So yeah, okay, sorry. Go ahead, Ben.
You guys have said a lot of what I would have said. What I will comment on is I always felt you could tell which parts of the movie were written before the strike, and they actually had a script for, and you could
Mm,
tell which parts they had to ad lib to get the movie
mm,
out in time. And I think the movie suffered for it. I think a lot of the humor was probably jammed in lieu of having an actual script. And that's
mm,
unfortunate because then it really became known for that. And if you compare it to the 2007 film, there really wasn't as much of that type of humor. There was some with Sam and Michaela and so on at the beginning, but once the fighting and the getting the old spark and all that really picked up, they
mm,
kind of got away from it except for a couple scenes. In Revenge of the Fallen, it really went over the top, and it did a disservice to the overall story because there is a lot of kernel of interesting things in there. I like the idea of Transformers having been on Earth millions of years ago and affected
mm,
human society. I like that idea. I like the idea of bringing a version of the Fallen into this universe. I like the idea of the Autobots hunting down Decepticon, hideaways on Earth. There's a lot of good ideas in there, and I sometimes wonder if the strike hadn't happened, would they have been able to tie them better into a more cohesive story with a little more sci-fi, a little more action, and a little less jokey.
yeah.
I mean, we'll never know, but I agree that this is the film I revisit the least. I think I watched this one only like twice in theaters, and then
Mm,
like once on DVD, and I don't think I've ever gone back to it.
okay. All right. So yeah. I forgot. This is what I had planned on doing too. I wanted to give a grade for each of these movies based on and average it out based on how we all felt. So I think the 2007 movie we probably out of as far as 5 stars, I would give it a I gave it a 4, and I don't know what we're gonna average it out to, but I'm looking at this Revenge of the the Revenge of the Fallen. I'll probably give probably a 1.5, maybe, so yeah, I guess we can do a point. I guess we can do a star system. If y'all want, y'all can just put it out there and we'll average it out. And chat squad, y'all keep the scores on that one. So, but let's move on to Dark of the Moon. Dark of the Moon, and you know what? Let's just go at it. We don't have to be formatted. Just chime in what y'all feel. Let's just go for it. I think Gort, you
I,
wanna
yeah,
I think you got this one.
2007 I think is the strongest overall movie, but Dark of the Moon is probably the one that I might enjoy the most, and it's because it had a lot of the cartoon vibes, and it's something simple like Megatron, sitting on the Lincoln Memorial, like stuff like that that was from the cartoon. Bringing
Mhm.
Cybertron to Earth is, like that's a season one plot,
Yep.
like
Ultimate
and that kind
Doom.
of stuff was fun, and I really like that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Um,
there were a lot
yeah,
of moments of the Leonardo DiCaprio meme sitting in the chair watching that movie, and that movie occurred before that movie. So yeah,
Mm.
that's
yeah,
that's
Yeah. Dark of the
yeah.
Moon for me, I think I did enjoy Dark of the Moon way more better than Revenge of the Fallen. Um, Two of my favorite characters in there was actually Shockwave. I like the way they did Shockwave. It wasn't because he wasn't it was just he was different. He just seemed to be different, and it kind of worked.
He was beefy.
Uh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
And although I knew about Sentinel Prime's character because he's the same character. No matter how you write him in any story, he's always the same um, turncoat,
uh,
traitor, coward, whatever
I
you want to
just
call him.
think of him as a
Uh,
dick.
yeah, he's just total dick. I mean,
But
I think
for me, a lot of
Transformers
that,
Animated was
yeah,
the best
he's I hate him
accountable.
in that, but you
Yeah,
love to hate him.
right. Yeah. It was just like, yo, I can't stand this dude. But my two favorite characters in the movie, in Dark of the Moon, was definitely Shockwave and Sentinel Prime. Um, again, with the way Sentinel Prime turned, you know, I thought that was it was very dark. It was very dark the way it happened, and you understood what was getting ready to happen. 'Cause I knew it was going to happen. I knew he was going to turn at some point. I just did. I just didn't know it was going to happen like that. So it was a shock to me. It was a shock to me when it happened. I was like,
Or
"Yo,
Ironhide,
he
right?
did Ironhide like
Something.
that? Yo, oh man, Prime gonna be pissed." And you know, and the, and then this is the movie where I first paid attention to Killer Prime.
Killer Pro.
Yeah, because Killer Prime came out. It was a killer. You know, Prime was like, "Nah, I'm not. I'm sick of being. I'm sick of
You
being
die.
noble. I'm sick of being, this guy that everybody's dependent on. They didn't kill me in the last movie, and they had to bring me back. Nah, I'm coming. I'm coming for everybody in this movie, and I don't care
Well,
no more.
I mean,
And
it's
it's
about
just like they
betrayal.
turned Prime into that, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he was betrayed by someone that he looked up to. I
Right,
mean,
right.
sometimes, I mean, that's just gonna bleed in over to the next movie too,
Mm-hmm.
probably.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But yeah. I don't know about you guys, but I saw that movie, and there's one line, or there's one moment, I should say. It surrounds a line that sticks with me.
mm,
I saw that movie in the theater with my brother, my younger brother, 12 years younger than me. He's like,
okay.
Brian, you like Transformers? Go watch this movie. I'm like, okay, fine. We go watch it. And at one point, when Sentinel Prime says the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few,
Yeah.
or the other way around, I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Sentinel Prime is voiced by Leonard Nimoy.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm
Mhm.
sitting here punching my brother in the arms, like, do you get the connection here? And he's like, no, I
Oh,
don't. I don't
I didn't
understand.
at first till you brought it up.
And I'm like, come on, Chuck. That's my brother's name. He's like,
Okay.
well, the thing is, I think I actually like made a verbal exhale in the theater when that happened, and I'm surrounded by all these young people that have no idea what that connection was, and I was
Mm,
just like, I was like, you're all terrible.
mm. All right, for everybody that didn't catch it, go more detail into that.
All right, so it's about the Wrath of Khan, Star Trek: The
Hmm.
Wrath of Khan. Spock, voiced by Leonard Nimoy, tells Captain Kirk that the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
Yeah,
Mhm.
in
It's
that
the
death
same
scene.
line that
Yeah,
that he says
yeah,
in Dark of the Moon, and
yeah,
it's just I thought it was super funny, and
yeah.
I'm so glad they put that in there. I
Hmm.
just hit the right spot for me.
Yeah, yeah. Like, and yeah, Jose, and I'm seeing Jose in the chat. He said story was more coherent. Coherent. Dark of the Moon. Dark of the Moon. Yeah, it was definitely more coherent. Um, I would talk. I want to talk about the human factor when it comes to these movies. Um, when I think about a Transformers movie, I don't want to. I want us to see Transformers. I'm not interested in seeing anything else. Had a lot of there's a lot of humans in it, and that kind of turned me off. But at the same time, um I like the battle scenes that the humans were involved with, like the soldiers were involved in this movie. That really was cool. But I didn't like. I'm not a Patrick Dempsey. I like Patrick Dempsey as an actor. His character was kind of a turn off to me in the movie, and then you had um, Sam's new girlfriend, who was actually named Carly in this movie. Um, I wasn't too impressed with her, although I've seen her in better things as well.
I still think
But
she was
yeah,
an upgrade
I
over
just
Megan
thought,
Fox.
huh?
I think she was an upgrade over Megan Fox, though.
Oh,
Not by
easy.
much,
Well,
but a little bit.
and that's if you pay attention to a lot of these movies that Michael Bay do, that's his shtick. He's got to have a hot girl in his movie to pay it to have some sort of attention brought to the movie in some way. So, and that's a Michael Bay thing. That's because he did the same thing with Turtles. He did the same thing with Armageddon. He did the same thing with what was the other set of movies? I can't remember. Bad Boys.
Bad
He did
Boys.
he did it with Bad Boys too. So it was just like that's his stick. So any Michael
Mhm.
Bay movie that you watched uh from from the mid 90s to the mid 2000s, I'm sorry, the mid 2010s, that's his stick. So just watch for it. Um like I said, the storytelling was good. I didn't like all the humans to it. The humans were basically, made to be slaves, pets of the Decepticons at some in some capacity. Um, you know, I liked how I, I wasn't too impressed with how they did Soundwave and his cassettes. Well, they weren't really cassettes. Uh, they had Soundwave. Remind me,
Laser
Soundwave
car,
was a satellite or a car in this. He was a car
No,
in
he was
this
car
a
in
one.
this
car in
one,
this one.
satellite in the previous car in this one.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay. So they had Soundwave as a car in this one. I mean, it was and the designs. This movie was all over the place as well, but it
Yeah,
was more coherent, just like
more
Jose
coherent
said,
than
and
the
I definitely
previous.
get that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else want to chime in on that one?
Yeah, so for me, Dark of the Moon was a big step up from Rise, from the not Rise, sorry, from Revenge.
Mhm.
Um, it to me, it was the live action version of Megatron's master plan,
Yeah.
and
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
to me, Patrick Dempsey's character was basically Sean Berger,
Sean
but
Berger. Yep.
live action,
Yep.
right? So
Yeah.
it kind of had a lot of that flavor, and I really liked that. Unfortunately, it started doing certain things that they would lean into in Age of Extinction and The Last Night that I wish they didn't. But for the most part, like I would say 85% of this film for me was aces.
Yeah.
I love the aspect of the humans like working with the Autobots in like they had their own base and everything. It
Mhm.
was like a formal organization that they put
Hmm.
together. They did a great job reflecting that in the toy line. Some of the most
Yeah.
fun Transformers toys of that era came out of
Hmm.
that time frame.
Yeah.
So I look on Dark of the Moon fondly. Oddly, I haven't watched it as many times as some of the other films, but I wouldn't like turn it off if it was on.
Right.
Okay.
So yeah, I would if we were to give it a star rating, I'd probably do 3.5 on it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. For yeah, we at the 10:30 mark now. Let's go ahead and roll through these. Let's do a combination for Age of Extinction and Last Night because I got a feeling that they're both going to fall in the same category in a sense. Age of Extinction for me, it was the biggest thing that I was trying to get out of that was trying to enjoy seeing the Dinobots come on the scene. But again, that I was disappointed with that one. It was just a disaster for me. Age of Extinction was the introduction of Cade Yeager. Was it Cade Yeager? Is his last
Marky,
name?
Yeah.
Marky Mark.
Yep, that's right.
It was Cade Yeager who was played by Mark Wahlberg, and it was campy to me. I liked how in the beginning, Prime was his original G1 truck, and but he later they changed him back. So it was just like, they were teasing us in the beginning and he was gonna be his original truck mode, but they was
Yep.
like, nah, hell no, we changing him back. So I was kind of pissed about that. So but it was what it was.
I remember
Again,
I was just say I just evasion mode Optimus Prime, right? That was the name of the
hmm
toy. I
Yes,
thought the
yes, it
toy was
was.
ingenious. How it,
It was a
like
good
yeah.
it
toy.
turned inside out.
hmm
Yeah.
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 So again, and then again, you got the hot girl in there who his daughter, and then you got they brought in not just a hot girl, but they also brought the hot guy in too with her love interest, her boyfriend interest or
Lucky
whatever.
Charms.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's
but
just
dude,
like,
they bring in the hot girl and uh, they specifically tell you in that movie how young she is, and I'm
uh-huh.
like, well, I can't feel any ways around
And
this.
then some
Mhm.
weird Texas loophole law to make it
Right.
okay that she's underage. Like
Yeah.
Right. I'm
ridiculous.
Yeah, they
like,
made sure to
okay.
beat that home. Like I was like, wow, they're putting a lot of effort into this one.
Yeah.
You could tell
Yeah.
Michael Bay spent
Torpedoes.
some time down there. So yeah.
Uh this introduced a new form of transformium. It was
That's a
transformium in the
dumb
movie.
name. Dumb.
And they
It's right up
used
there
it
with
to make
unobtainium.
new bots, and this was the new this is how they introduced Galvatron in the movie. It's like it's not Megatron no more, he's Galvatron now, and that's how
I got
they
a question
introduced
about this.
Galvatron. And I was just like, yo, I'm not no. And this and now, and another highlight, of this the one highlight of this movie for me was Stanley Tucci was in. I love Stanley Tucci.
Yeah, he's good.
I
He's a good
absolutely
character
love
actor.
I love anything Stanley Tucci's in. But yeah, but he made that movie for me, but it was still a shit movie for me. It was just like, yo, nah, I'm not feeling this one either. And that's when
Stanley.
I decided, I said, I am never, ever, ever going back to the theaters to see another Transformers movie again. And I stood on my word with that one because I did not go to the theaters to see the last night. I waited till it came on cable and watched it. I didn't care about spoilers. Y'all can tell me all about it. I know it was a crappy movie with Unicron and all of the glorious they tried to introduce the Quintessons, and it was actually Quintessa. Uh, they called her Quintessa. Quintessa is actually the planet, but we all know that. And they introduced Lockdown in this one, and he basically killed off the first runner Autobots. He killed off Ratchet. He killed off who else did he kill off? He killed off
I
was
killed
it
off.
just Ratchet or he got somebody else? He got a couple. He got a
Well,
couple
it's
bots.
suggested he got others, like Leadfoot was
Yeah.
taken down,
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
off screen. Yeah, but a lot of the previous characters, they just kind of wiped the board.
yeah, yeah.
Didn't they have a video of Ratchet getting killed? Right.
Well,
Yep.
that we
That
saw that
happened in
scene.
the
Like we
opening.
see the humans
Oh,
hunting,
okay, right.
Yeah.
and then
Mhm.
Lockdown finishing him off.
He's like, I'm an Autobot.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
I had a lot of problems with Age of Extinction, and almost like contradicting that, I actually enjoyed chunks of it, right?
okay.
And and I but if I were to like give you a ratio, I would say I had a lot of problems with like 60% of the movie, and then 40% of it I really enjoyed.
Hmm.
Um, I didn't like that we went from the third film where we had this Autobot human alliance, right? And they had their own base, and it was basically, I mean, let's be real, it was basically GI Joe and Transformers on screen,
Mhm.
Yeah.
in one movie, and then all of a sudden, now the military is hunting them down. The Autobots are all in hiding, and I hate when any series pull like they flip the status quo like that without giving us any real explanation or showing us what happened. It's just
Hmm.
one day the U.S. government woke up and said we don't like them anymore. Well,
Yeah,
you sure
yeah.
committed a lot of resources to it.
Right,
I
Yeah.
mean, I could
right.
kind of understand it considering what happened in Chicago. Like, I
Well,
kind of get
yeah,
it.
but it's going to get worse if
Yeah.
if you don't work with the good guys at least,
Hmm.
which it kind of does in this film and the next one, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't like that aspect. I felt like Age of Extinction shifted gears into much more cynical territory,
Hmm.
which we saw some of in Revenge of the Fallen,
Yeah.
and uh, the stuff with the daughter and the whole like she's underage, but we have the Romeo and Juliet. Like, did we need any of that?
No.
It
Nope.
was absolutely
Oh.
useless. Like they could have eliminated the boyfriend character, just have
Hmm.
her be the daughter of Kate Yeager and make the human story. He's trying to reconnect with his estranged daughter, and there would have been some good drama there. I
Could
think.
have
Yeah.
could have made her a
Uh,
year older too and avoided all of that.
yeah, but they had to get
Just
into
saying.
that
Hmm.
whole
Yep.
business, and the sad part about it is she was a likable character. And
Hmm.
actually, Kate Yeager, I like the idea of the character because he gave me Sparkplug vibes,
Okay.
um, and I like the idea of this guy who's kind of down and out on his luck, but he's actually a good mechanic and he can help tinker with stuff for the Transformers. I really like that idea going back to the 80s. I remember one of the old storybooks in G1. Optimus Prime gets wounded on the battlefield, and like Sparkplug dives in with his handy wrench and everything, and manages to fix Prime in time for the
Yeah.
Autobots to win the battle. I've always
The
loved stuff like that.
the War
Showing,
for Cybertron storybook
yeah,
is that one. Yeah.
Hmm.
exactly. And
Yeah.
seeing humans and Cybertronians work together like that has always been a thing that I really enjoyed about G1. So to see it on film was fun, but now we're lumping both movies together here. I found it sad that the role of the human became to hide out all the Autobots. And I found it sad that the humans were hunting down the very Autobots that they were working with a few years prior.
Hmm.
Um, is it realistic? Probably. Humans don't have the best track record. But I don't go to a film about space robots for realism. I want a little bit of idealism in there. And I feel like Dark of
Yeah.
the Moon is the closest we ever got to that.
Hmm.
Uh, and I feel that Age of Extinction really dropped the ball on the introduction of the Dinobots. And the funny part is they didn't have to do a lot to do it right, and they just missed the step.
Yeah.
And see, a lot of people don't like the fact that Prime like had to fight Grimlock to get Grimlock to help him. I didn't actually have a problem with the fighting. I had a problem with the reason they were fighting, which is that Grimlock was just yelling and screaming and hollering at Prime, and then Prime said, "I'm going to smack you around a little." you know,
Yeah.
I would have preferred Grimlock said, "All right, you want me to follow you? Prove
Mhm.
to me. Show me the
Yeah.
power of Prime. Prove to me you're
Mhm.
worthy. You defeat me in combat. We're on your team." Like
Yeah.
that would have been
That
very
would have been
Dinobot
cool.
like, very G1 Dinobot like. But they didn't go with any of that. So Prime's just whooping this guy, and you're like, weren't you just going to ask him for help a moment ago?
Yep.
it just it
Doesn't
made
he
the
tell
Autobot
him?
seem
Doesn't
so
he
Got to
say
earn the
passive.
warrior's respect or whatever.
But
The
doesn't he
Yeah,
say he was going to
Right.
kill the guy? And this is
yeah.
coming from Mr. Freedom is the right of all sentient beings.
But I'm going to stick
Exactly.
a sword to your throat
Murder
if you want
Prime.
help.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
it's funny, as a big Optimus Prime fan, when he's like, "That's it, I'm gonna kill this human," or whatever. Actually, I think he actually does.
Yeah.
The
Kelsey Grammer.
Kelsey Grammer. I I actually just sat back and was like, "Yeah, Prime, you do you, man." I was like, "Look, they're they reached into your genome and stole your identity and are making their own Transformers. And if humans are gonna make movies like this, you go ahead and wipe them out, man."
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah, here's the thing about the Dinobots though. Once they were in the scene and they would like the Autobots were riding them and they were riding into battle, I love that whole sequence where they were
Yeah.
just trashing Viacons left and right.
The
That was
Mhm.
fun. Uh, I wish they
Hound
had done
was
more
it?
in robot mode. Everything they did was basically in beast mode, but that's a pet peeve. In terms of the
Mhm.
scene where Prime takes out the human, a lot of people are like, "Well, that was a total violation of the character." I don't agree. This is a guy who basically declared war on the Autobots and Decepticons. And he didn't care what you were, Autobot or Decepticon. He was going to kill you. If you were Cybertronian, you were dead.
Yeah.
And he basically took their genetic material, as you said, and made an army of zombies. I mean, if we humans saw another race do that to us, I don't think we'd be particularly forgiving to them, even if they were,
Right.
10 feet shorter than us.
Yeah.
so he basically Cemetery Wind made themselves enemy combatants, so they knew what they were signing up for. As far as I'm
Mhm.
concerned,
Hmm.
I got a
Okay.
Galvatron question
So
because this has been bugging me, and I know he was killed, and then they brought him. They used the transformium or whatever to try. I the way I understand it, you have to have an actual spark to be alive, but they're saying that they downloaded his mind into the new thing, and that's how he's
yeah.
alive again. Are they cheating?
Sure.
I mean, by the standards
Like
of
that just
Transformers, no.
I felt like they cheated on that one a little bit. Like I thought you need a spark to be alive,
I mean,
and
this is the
you're kind of
franchise
not.
where Optimus Prime's entire soul was on a floppy disk.
Oh,
There you go.
that's a
I mean,
that's a throwback right there, Ben. That's a
Yeah.
Yep.
throwback. I remember that.
Issue
Mhm.
24, I believe.
yeah. So
Shout
once,
out to
once,
the
Mhm.
'80s.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
Sir.
is this more absurd than that? Maybe. What I understood it was is that his body parts still had like residual. The way I interpreted it was it
Yeah.
still had residual spark energy from
Right.
Megatron,
Yeah,
and
because it
that
was his
residual
head.
energy coupled with the
Yeah.
memories
Mhm.
worked together to form a new identity, which was
Mhm.
Galvatron, and it
Yeah.
manipulated the humans into building him a new body. That's how I understood it.
Yep.
Maybe you must be
That's
smarter than
exactly
me,
what
Ben.
it
I don't know. It
was.
just doesn't make any sense.
Mm. I kind of
I will say
guys.
that this.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Wolf. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I would just say this movie I think had my favorite. I like the robot version of Prime in this one better than the other
Oh,
previous
the
It was
three.
a lot more
the, the,
sleeker. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was a lot more
sleeker. Like
clean.
he just didn't look like a pile of parts. It looked
yeah.
like it looked
Yeah.
good.
They,
I
they
will
gave it
give
a
them that
more
much in this movie.
organic look, which
Yeah.
Yeah.
feels more in line with the old designs.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of all
Absolutely.
did because they did the same thing. They did the same thing with Drift. Was it Drift?
Crosshairs.
Crosshairs, and yeah, Drift.
Yeah, Drift too.
Yeah.
Drift was actually a very traditional Autobot look.
Hmm.
It was a head sticking out of the front of a car,
Yeah.
Yep.
and like had a car doors hanging off the side. That he was actually one of the most traditional looking Transformers in the film.
Hmm. Um, it was, and it was another. All right, we'll think about that later. I kind of want to skip over last night
Dude,
because,
I have nothing. I can't even remember it except for that
yeah,
weird singing scene when the
Well,
I
guy was singing in the
so
background.
if you guys bear with me, I do
go
want
for
to
it.
chat about it a little bit
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
I was fortunate enough to go on the press tour for the set visit when they
Oh,
were
okay.
filming the last night, and
Mhm.
this is less about the movie and actually more about just the experience. But I'm hoping some of your watchers might actually want to hear about it.
Okay.
I was invited out with several of the other Transformers websites. Sabertron was there, TFW 2005 was there. Shout out to all
Okay.
those guys.
Yeah.
And we were they had about I think it was about 2 or 3 days of activities, and they had us like going from place to place to place. Like uh, one of my favorite moments, and this is like from the middle of it, is they took us to a warehouse where they had all the vehicles stored for the movie. So like the car that they use for Barricade,
Mhm.
Optimus Prime, so on. The stunt driver who drives Optimus Prime was there, and he's done this in all the films. And we got to drive in Optimus Prime with him.
Wow.
He just crammed us all in the back and just took us for a spin in Optimus Prime, and that was amazing. And then
Hmm.
he kicked us all out, and then he did some stunt driving. Like he basically drifted Optimus Prime. It was insane,
Wow.
right in front of us.
Wow.
So
Man, I would have loved
super
to see
fun
that.
time.
Yeah.
We got the preview footage in like the IMAX headquarters IMAX theater,
Okay.
and it looks spectacular. Now, some people have IMAX screens because I know in my area in Jersey, they have IMAX screens that are not really IMAX screens. They're a little
Oh,
bigger, sounds a little better. But when I say an IMAX screen, and New Yorkers will know what I'm talking about the 5-story screen in Lincoln Square in New York City. That's what I mean when
okay.
I say an IMAX movie theater. And that's what they showed us the first footage on, which was super cool. And we had Michael Bay there with us, basically narrate, like doing director's narration while we were watching, and that was
Oh,
fantastic.
okay. Okay.
Uh, Another part of the tour was Michael Bay took us into his editing studio and basically sat us down for 40 minutes and just
Wow.
showed us footage. And I got to tell you, the guy has a certain public image, and he cultivates it well.
Hmm.
But in that studio, what I saw was just someone geeking out the whole time,
Okay.
and he was so excited about the footage he was showing us, and he was like, "Oh, look at this explosion here, and look at these fragments flying in midair." He was just excited about the things that we would kind of not even notice or take for granted,
Hmm.
and I found that really interesting because I thought he was just going to show us like 5-10 minutes of footage and kick us out, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But no, he spent time with us. He answered questions.
That's
It was
cool.
really different, and he told us about this scene, which, man, if it had made it into the movie, it would have been great. Where Cogman, and this was all unsolicited from us. He said, "Well,
Yeah.
there's this character called Cogman, and he's a headmaster." And we're all looking at each other like, "What?" It's like,
Wow.
yeah. So he's at one point he's going to jump on a Decepticon. He's going to rip the Decepticon's head off, transform into the head, and take over his body. We're all like, "Oh my god, show us that!"
Wow.
Because
That would have been cool.
I think they wrote it. I don't think they ever rendered it. But if you look
Oh
at the
man.
toy for Cogman, he is a headmaster, right?
Yeah.
And if you look at the Thundercracker toy, you can pop that head off and replace it with Cogman's head. So this was written, and Hasbro was told about this at some point.
I remember that.
So yeah, it just never made it to film, but it really got us jazzed about everything, and it was a very positive experience. So I want to give kudos to them. And little fun factoid is, you guys may remember they had these flashback scenes like in medieval times, and all these soldiers, like they had these
Yeah.
flags up.
Yeah.
They actually gave each of us a small piece of cloth for one of those flags. I still have it
Cool.
taped to my desk over here. So that was incredible, absolutely incredible experience. Now let's get to the film. So the
Okay.
problem with The Last Night is
Hmm.
it tried to become the launch pad for a Transformer cinematic universe. And this is when everybody saw Marvel did it and pulled it off, and everybody wanted to do it, right? Warner Brothers tried, they didn't succeed. And I think the problem with The Last Night is it's got like 5 stories in it, and
Yes.
it doesn't
Hmm.
know which one it wants to tell you.
Hmm.
If it had just picked a lane and stuck with it, it would have
Hmm.
been fine. And the lane I think it needed to stick in was, okay, you're going to do the whole Transformers were here in the past thing. All right, enter MacGuffin, enter threat. We need to get these dragons that Merlin worked with to help us solve the problem. That's it. That's your story. Don't do the Unicron thing. We don't need the
Mhm.
whole Wiccan, whatever thing. Why are you showing us Optimus Prime and Ironhide in Photoshop drawings with Revolutionary War soldiers? You're just confusing everybody. you know, don't
Yeah.
do any
Oh
of
my
that.
god.
Yep.
Yeah, Ben, it's funny when you talked about spending time with him in the editing room or whatever it was, and he was geeking out. When I saw that movie, I was like, well, I when I was done seeing it, I was like, well, Michael knew that this was his last movie, so he threw in every single idea that he ever wrote down on a pad of paper. It's
Mhm.
like, all right, well, this is my last one. I'm putting it all in there,
Mhm.
and yeah, that's what it felt
Well,
like to me, exactly
remember,
like
at
you
the
said.
same time they did this film, they assembled a writer's room. And the idea of that writer's room was they were supposed to come up with like 3 or 4 different movies so that every year following the last night, there would be a Transformers movie in theaters
Okay.
because
Yep.
Marvel was doing it, right?
Yep.
So why couldn't they? Well, Marvel spent 10 years building it. Transformers did not spend 10 years building a cinematic universe. It spent 10 years building an event movie every 2 to 3 years. That's different,
Mm.
Yeah.
right? And
Okay.
all of a sudden they felt like they had to play catch up. And what's sad is I saw a lot of the concepts that they had um, for the world beyond the last night. Some of them are absolutely fascinating, and they hinted at some of it in the last night. Like, would I like to see a movie where a chunk of it takes place during World War II, and we see how Transformers worked in there in like old style, old airplane forms, old car forms? I would love that,
Yeah.
but we never got it.
Mm. Okay.
Before we move on,
Um.
I just real quick, I just want to say this was the out of all 5 of these movies that I watched this week, I could not wait for this one to be over. Dormammu said it best. They threw everything in there. It
Mhm.
just was so. Anthony Hopkins, what are you doing? Are you running out of money? What are you doing in this movie? You're better than this. You're better than this. Stop it. And again, if you know me, you know how I feel about children in movies. The girl in the Squeaks had absolutely no point in being in this movie. I thought it was
Yeah.
dumb. They did nothing to
She's
advance the
forgettable.
story. Exactly. It's like
Mhm.
you're dumb. You don't need to be there. You run out in the street. You blow everyone's cover because you're a little robot friend. Get out of my movie. Get out of my movie. You don't need to be here.
Right.
Like
There.
the two big things that I remember best in that movie, and I feel like this is not what I should remember best, is like the whole Suicide Squad lineup when he gets all the Decepticons together, like
Mm.
coming out of jail and all kinds of
That
stuff. I'm like,
that was
what is
corny.
this nonsense?
Yeah, that was
But
so corny.
when they get on the submarine and Cogman's like, "Hey, these two kind of got a thing going on." He launches out like a torpedo, catches a tuna, brings it back into the ship, starts slapping it on the walls, and then makes like a sushi dinner for them. Like, what just happened? Why did how did that get made? How did that get written and put in? Like, how did
They tried
whose
to shove a
idea is
romance
that,
that
and
didn't need
why
to
does
be
it
there.
happen?
Oh my
Right.
God, I
What
Right.
forgot
what was
about all these things you guys just mentioned. That's right.
Yeah, they tried to shove a romance that did not need to be in there. That didn't add anything to it.
Right.
Just
Right.
here.
Yeah.
Dumb.
So let's. I don't want to. I don't mean to cut everybody off, but let's just go ahead and get right into the last two. Let's. I want to. Okay, so Transformers Bumblebee, and we also got Transformers Rise of the Beast. So
Everybody knows why Bumblebee was good.
yeah,
Or the best
everybody.
part.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
first 10 minutes of the movie was the dopest,
Yeah.
of Transformers Bumblebee. I would say it was the dopest out of the whole movie. But at the same time, I will say that I absolutely enjoyed the entire movie. I enjoyed all of Transformers Bumblebee for what it was trying to do,
Yep.
for the story that it told. Did it miss the mark on a couple of things? Yeah, there was a couple of missed marks, but for the most part, it didn't really matter because the story itself to me was just solid, and from start to finish I was with it the entire time. So um an iconic situation in there for me was having Angela Bassett voice voiced one of the characters. I can't even remember her character's name. I just called the character Angela the entire time. I was just like, she's Angela the entire time. But I loved just hearing her. I just loved hearing her be part of the movie, and despite how her character was, um, the character, all the human elements itself, it made sense for the story, and John Cena in it, he was it was, and I want to talk about John Cena's role in
Now
this
hang
movie
on
and
just a
how
second, Derek.
yeah.
I I got a note here. This is from EE Prime. It says my favorite part of the movie is John Cena.
I think that's a forgery.
Nice.
Ah, it
Yo,
looked legit to
I
me.
straight believe
That's
him.
sus.
I straight believe him. Oh, that's awesome. Yo, I agree with you, and I'll yeah, that's dope.
Mhm.
So John Cena in the movie, I think it made a lot of sense with him being the start of essentially the start of no, I was going to say Super
Super
7.
7.
Sector
Yeah.
7.
Yeah, John Cena, he's working real hard on all those Thundercats and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, but I'm really glad that John Cena was a part of the movie in the role that he played because of the way Rise of the Beast ended and the potential of him being part of that as well. I did look at Transformers Bumblebee to be a reboot of the Transformers cinematic universe, away from the Bayformers movies. I may be wrong, but to me, it looked like a fresh new reboot because everything was just totally different, Bumblebee included. Um, like I said, the story was fluent. Everything was good about that movie, and I have no complaints about Transformers Bumblebee at all.
I
What do you
really,
guys think?
really, really wish they would have left the non-speaking in the Bay movies and just give him a
Right,
goddamn
and give him a
voice.
voice.
Just stop it. All right, you
Yeah.
did it. It's over.
Yeah.
Move on. Just stop it with the radio. Come on.
Yeah, give me Dan Gilvezan. I was,
Anybody.
looking forward to that too. But with them explaining, at least we got a chance to see how it happened in this go around. So that made me think that's what convinced me that this was a reboot because of that whole situation, with Starscream taking out his, I'm sorry, Blitzwing
Blitzwing.
taking out his voice
Come on.
box in that fight that then in the fight that they had. But yeah. What are you guys' thoughts on Bumblebee? That is.
Go ahead, Gord. I gotta think about this for a minute.
So
Um,
for me, Bumblebee succeeds for a few reasons, and one of those reasons is actually very similar to why Rise of the Beast succeeds, and that's because we've had prior to Bumblebee 10 years now of Transformers live action films, basically, and uh, it became very meta, the film, because
Mm,
the culture had developed a language and a set of meta jokes around the films, right?
mm.
The NBC show The Good Place made a joke where they had a new scent of Axe body spray called Transformers, and then when you spray it on yourself,
Really?
you smell loud and confusing.
Yeah,
So you know, if a
accurate.
sitcom is creating a joke from your films, then you've
Yeah.
hit a certain level of cultural zeitgeist
Mhm.
and you're not going to be able to get away from it. So you have to lean into it. And I
Okay.
think what Bumblebee did was it took a lot of what we expect of a Michael Bay Transformers film and it subverted it. And one of the
Mm.
first things it did to do that was to give us a very tiny cast, right? Except for the beginning sequence on Cybertron, you basically have what, four main characters,
Yeah.
Cybertronians,
Mhm.
and some humans, but not the overwhelming number of humans we used to have,
Right.
right? So that was the important part of it, making it a character piece where it was about this girl trying to kind of find her way, trying to find herself, and how Bumblebee helps her do it. Is it a riff
Mhm.
off ET? Yes. And the cinematography absolutely is aping
Mhm.
Spielberg's style. That's not a bad thing. If you're going to
Yeah.
copy someone, copy a master, you know. And I
Mhm.
think they did a nice job. And I also liked that uh, they got away from a lot of the gross humor, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the humor in there is very genuine humor. It's very 80s, you know, kind of kid film humor, and I was happy with that. And I thought the action was fantastic. Like even the way the action was filmed is different than the Bay films. You could track the action a lot better. That scene where
Mhm.
Bumblebee goes from vehicle mode to robot mode to punch him, which is right out of the G1 opening animation sequence, that was
Yeah.
beautiful. So they did a lot of things against expectations of a
Mhm.
Transformers live action film, and I think that's why it was successful.
Mm.
Yeah. Um, the way it's Bumblebee was a story of a girl and her car. Basically, like the first 2007 movie began being it was a boy in his car. It spoke to how Bumblebee's character was played out in Rise of the Beast as well. Because as you know, in Rise of the Beast, first of all, I mean, before we even get into Rise of the Beast, did anyone have anything else to say about Bumblebee?
Honestly, not really. Like, you guys
Nah.
have pretty much said most of what I would. Rise of
Okay.
the Beast I haven't seen yet. I've got no problem with spoilers, so you go ahead.
Okay. So let's go into it. Rise of the Beast. First of all, starting out, I want to go in chronological order of this. So opening sequence, it's Unicron coming onto a planet, and we come to understand that it is the beast planet where the Maximals occupied the planet and set up shop. They
So
were
they're
discovered
are they
by
not Cybertronian or
It's
they're
not.
cyber no, they're still
Yeah, they are.
Cybertronian.
They
Oh, okay.
are.
Yeah, they're Cybertronian, and but they're already in their beast. They're already in their beast forms. In the Beast Wars cartoon, they landed on prehistoric Earth
Yeah.
and took on the animal forms of the local animals that were around them that they were being scanned. It wasn't like that in this movie. They were already well into their beast forms, and it looks like they've been occupied. They occupied the planet for a while. When Unicron discovered them on that planet and sent Scourge and his minions to go down there and find the transwarp key.
I found it very
First,
interesting. I'm sorry, real quick. I just
uh
found it very interesting that the beasts on that planet resemble the beasts on our planet. Like gorillas look like gorillas on our. That's weird.
so the
I thought
one thing that wasn't clear for me was if that was actually prehistoric Earth.
I don't believe it
That
No,
was
was.
what
no. Wait, the
No, because
planet
was.
they were on?
Unicron ate that planet. Remember, Derek?
Yeah, Unicron eats the
There's no
planet,
way.
Oh, right. That's right.
and it's got a giant ring
So
around it.
it can't be.
No,
It
it's
can't
it's
be
a
that.
That's a
Cybertronian
paradox.
colony.
Yeah.
So, and Gort, you don't care about spoilers, so I'm going to
Nah,
spoil.
it's fine.
That warning's been going down the bottom for a while. So,
Yep.
so the Maximals in this film, they retain a lot of Beast Wars stuff. I have an article about Easter eggs on my site if anyone wants to check it out. But the Maximals are from the future, and
Mhm.
they are the descendants of the Autobots. They never say that explicitly, but they give us a ton of hints. And the implication is in the beginning of the film, what we are actually seeing is a scene from the future, where the Maximals have colonized this planet. And there is precedent for this. In the Cybertron series, we did have a
Mhm.
beast planet, right?
Mhm.
Where
Yep.
there were a lot of Earth-like animal forms on there.
Yes.
Wolves and so on, rhinos. So, this is a thing Transformers has done before.
Yeah.
And then when they leave, they use the transwarp key, which we're told transcends space and time, another Beast Wars connection. So
Mhm.
essentially, they go back into the past and wind up on Earth. So if you think about it, if you're trying to get away from this giant god thing that's eaten like your whole galaxy, basically, where better to escape from it than another time and like another galaxy?
Mhm.
And that's what they did. So they went as far as they could from Unicron to hide from him.
Mhm. Yep. So you see an ape like robotic figure come out of the forest. He's running from something, and then you find Scorponok in the back of him, chasing him down, getting ready to attack him. Then you see another ape coming in. I'm like, oh, we got two apes. Then you come to find out the first ape was actually Ape Link. Ape Link was a character that was developed under BotCon back in the day, under the BotCon, lore. Um, my mind is all frazzled when it comes to that because I'm just excited about the fact that they put Ape Link in the movie. Ben, can you go into that a little further, please?
So Ape Link was introduced many, 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 many moons ago during the Beast Machines era
Mm-hmm.
at BotCon as an exclusive. It was a repaint of Transmetal Optimus Primal, but it was a separate character. And one of Ape Link's most notable features was his ability to essentially create hard light weaponry and machinery. So think Green Lantern, right? But like he could make a gun, he could make a laser rifle or whatever. And then over time, BotCon is pretty much where the character was confined to. He never appeared in any of the main lines. So over the years, there have been other BotCon exclusive figures made of Ape Link. And the last time they did it was when Fun Publications was still running BotCon. So it's been a while since we've heard from Ape Link. And now to see a on-screen version of him was absolutely incredible.
That's
Yeah.
very interesting, Ben. I did not know any of that. I thought he was just made for this movie. So thanks for that tidbit of information. Didn't know any of that.
Yeah, no, he was definitely a BotCon staple.
Hmm.
Yeah, that excited me when Optimus Primal referred to him as Ape Link, and I was like, "Yo, are you serious? Oh, they really trying to pull our heartstrings at this point, man." Because I said, and then BotCon around the corner, that just it's crazy how that worked out. But anyway, so Scourge finds them on the planet. Ape Link is actually the leader of the Maximals on that planet at the time. He instructed Optimus Primal, Cheetor, Airazor, and Rhinox to leave without him with the transwarp key, and he was going to hold off Scourge so they can get away. It worked. Unfortunately, Scourge took the life of Ape Link. He destroyed him, but they were able to escape to prehistoric Earth. Unicron had no idea where they were going, and it took them thousands of years to find out, where they were. Fast forward to Earth 1994, you come across, what's going on at the moment. Um, and Anthony Ramos's character Noah, he's former military. He's coming back. He come back home to take care of his brother and his mother, who he's living with at the time. And they go and and it's explained what that situation is. It's very cool family dynamic and so forth. His little brother has a sickle. Was it sickle cell? Yeah, it was sickle. It had to be sickle cell.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, it was.
it was sickle cell. Um, and very familiar with the sickle cell situation. And when everything that was, the symptom that he was going through and everything, it was very, very accurate. It's stuff that I go through with my own daughter who has sickle cell. And they're broke. They have no money. They're struggling, just like your average, just like an average family in that era, in that location, in that time. They're struggling. He's trying to find a job after the military, and he basically gets screwed out of this one job interview because of his old commander who reported him, as a loner, a wild card. And he felt like that was unfair. And then he comes back home. He's um just not feeling that situation. He gets involved with one of his friends, and they go to a gala to steal cars. He comes across Mirage during this time, and um he breaks into the car, gets in, and then at this point, Mirage pretty much awakens, and he, his prime is sending out a distress signal out to them because the transwarp key has been activated, and that's a whole different story because that involves the girl, Dominique Fishback, and her character name was it was what was her
Elena.
name? Elena. Yeah, Elena works at a museum as an intern, and she's smart as a whip. She's absolutely brilliant. She's, has ancient mythology built into her brain because that's the thing that she studied the most, and she's very knowledgeable about it. This piece came in with a Maximal logo on it, and the Maximal symbol on it, and she was studying it, and then come to find out as she was studying it, it unlocked the transwarp key that was in it, and then it sent out this signal beacon which signaled Unicron, and that's how Unicron found out where the transwarp key was, and it signaled him to send Scourge to Earth. Fast forward to Noah finding Mirage. You all seen the commercials where they ride through the streets and he's trying to dodge police and all of that this stuff. And they later meet, and Mirage reveals himself to Noah and all of that, and then and then Prime comes on the scene and he's like, what's this human doing here? Another dynamic to that movie, Prime basically is this is a version of Prime that we're not used to seeing because you're used to seeing Prime as this seasoned veteran who knows how to lead his team and knows what to do in any type of situation. This is a younger version of Prime where he's taking on this. It seems like he's taking on this leadership role. He's been in it for a while, but he's still kind of a rookie at it. And you notice it with his interaction with Noah because it's like he's had no interactions with the humans whatsoever. The only bot that's actually had interactions with humans was Bumblebee. It was a result of the previous movie. And Bumblebee is literally looking at Prime like, why are you tripping? Humans aren't that bad. Humans are actually pretty cool. I know I got friends that are human, and you need to chill. And so um Mirage convinces Noah to work with him to go find this transwarp key, and he convinces Prime to let him be involved so they can help go get the key. And then they go to the museum, and it goes through these effects of where they discover because Scourge finds out where the key is, and then that's where they come across Scourge. Scourge is straight whooping everybody's ass in this movie, at this stage, and he actually kills Bumblebee. Y'all seen that? Y'all seen that bit on the commercials too. I'm not revealing nothing y'all ain't seen yet. So again, Rise of the Beast, spoiler alert, scrolling right down the bottom. So anyway, so for this movie, for me, the biggest highlight for this one for me was the relationship between Optimus Primal and Optimus Prime. When they both meet, Optimus Primal knows of the legendary Optimus Prime. He's heard the legend, he's studied him, he's patterned himself after Optimus Prime, but he's meeting a Prime that he doesn't know, that he hasn't experienced yet. This is a rookie Optimus Prime who's getting to know how to do things better. Um, the one thing I took away from that is Optimus is basically being molded by Optimus Primal as a result of him, knowing who he is in the future. Remember, um, and that whole dynamic with them when you see the scenes where they're interacting with each other, definitely pay attention to the dialogue and the way they're interacting with each other. It's like Prime is getting to know himself through Optimus Primal, and it's a beautiful translation to see him learning about. It's literally like Optimus is learning about himself through Optimus Prime, and he comes to know that he has to be a more gentler leader, and he has to be more understanding. He has to get to know the people around him, the environments that he's in, because Optimus Primal is already doing this with the people that he's been around for generations. you know mind you, Optimus Prime and the Maximals have been on Earth at this point for thousands of years, and they've been around humans for a long period of time, and they learned how to work with the humans that they were around. So that whole dynamic was incredible to me. Um, the movie spaced out the human interaction really nice. It wasn't a whole lot of humans in it. Um, the only quirky thing that was for me for the movie was Stratosphere. He was the bot that basically traveled, basically flew him around where they go. The whole way he was introduced in the movie was wacky, but at the same time, it was cool. I was just like, okay, yeah, we'll let this go. So, so um, but yeah, that was what the movie was. To the movie itself to me was very, very good. It was very good. It had its moments. Towards the end, there was I'm not I don't want to talk about that just yet until everyone had a chance to really talk to the movie that actually seen the movie. So I'm gonna give you a chance. Actually, is it just me and you, Ben? Did you see the movie, Brink? Oh no, you
I
said you
saw
didn't
the
see the
movie.
movie.
I saw the movie.
You saw the movie, Wolfie. Okay, so let's talk about it.
All right, so I'm gonna go back to what I said about Bumblebee and say that it works for Rise of the Beasts as well.
Mhm,
Rise of the Beasts had me worried because Bumblebee moved so far to the other side of the equation from where Michael Bay was.
mhm.
And when I saw the trailers for Rise of the Beast, I said, okay, so they're gonna go for the big bombastic film again, right? Are they going to pull it off, or is it just going to be metal clanging and you can't see who's on the screen and everyone's going to complain again? And they didn't, and that's the most brilliant thing. And a lot of that meta commentary that I mentioned earlier continued into this film, and the humor remained at a good level. Like Stratosphere's introduction is probably as goofy as it got, and I was fine with
Yeah.
that. It didn't
Yep.
involve anyone peeing on anyone. It didn't
Right.
involve a robot
Right.
humping someone. It was
Right.
unclean humor, relatively speaking.
Mhm.
I mean, he hopped the loogie, but okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, and the action, I could follow the action. There was a lot of focus on melee combat in this film, and it was cool to see, like, okay, he blocked this and now he's going to swing with his other arm and he connects like that, and this weapon is blocking that weapon. You could follow from movement to movement like a martial arts film,
Yeah.
and that was huge.
Well,
uh,
did they
I
do
also
motion capture this time?
I they must have, because the movements were way too smooth. There must have been people in mocap suits doing it.
Because there's no way
And
they did that for some of the other ones.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then I also loved. I think the human characters were great. I felt great empathy for Noah and his family.
Yeah.
And we've been talking all night about how, with your Megan Foxes of the world and everything, Michael Bay had this hyper-sexualized thing happening.
Mhm.
Elena is a beautiful girl, no doubt, but she's not treated as eye candy.
Right.
She is there because she has knowledge, and that is
Mhm.
made clear from her very first scene.
Yep.
And she's got guts, and that's why she's there.
Yep.
And you're rooting for both main human characters and Noah's
Yes.
family. And I
Mhm.
think the thing with the little brother was very touching, and I liked how
Yeah.
they connected that with Mirage, and it worked out really well. And the parallel between Noah and Optimus Prime as these big brother figures trying to take care of their families was also beautifully done. And huge shout out to AirRaiser, who I did not expect to love as much as I did, and I totally loved her.
Mhm. Yeah. Well said. Well said. Definitely.
So what I
Go ahead, Wolfie.
gather is
Oh,
this movie was respectfully done.
yes.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Wolfie.
I I I, I could have done without the humans. I'm sorry.
Okay.
The first 30 minutes of their backstories, I don't care. I wish they would have spent more time on the beasts. To be honest, um, having them go into the big battle just never makes sense to me. I'm sorry. I'm too realistic. I think too logically. They don't need to be there. Just give me the robots. They can figure it out. It
Mhm.
doesn't make any sense to have that many humans in danger like that. You're gonna die. Sorry, I can't suspend disbelief that much. I just can't do it. I'm
Right.
old. Leave me alone.
Oh, hey, I get it. I definitely get it. Um, but again, I can't appreciate the elements of what this movie brought um, versus what the previous movies were. Um, it was just an incredible turnaround for me. I have no choice but to believe that this is a total reboot of this movie and of this franchise, and I hope that it expands to exactly what it's intended to. The end credits indicated it gave a clue as to GI Joe being involved in the future of the franchise, and I have no choice but to think that they're going to also reboot GI Joe as well. So it's interesting to see how that's going to pan out. And which brings it full circle to my John Cena comment earlier. I believe that he's going to play a role in that. They're going to take him from his role from what he did in Bumblebee and apply it to GI Joe somehow. I have no choice but to believe that. If it works out that way, great. If it doesn't, I'm going to have a hard time dealing with that, but it's okay. But overall, I've been very impressed with what they've been doing with Transformers so far with the live movie franchise, and it can only get better. I hope it gets better. Not, and I didn't have a problem with the GI Joe movies that they've done in the past that they've done already. I mean, they're okay for what they were, but with them being potentially tied to this Transformers franchise, um, I like to believe that it will first. I hope what they do is make a whole GI Joe movie and then cross it into a Transformers, type of movie. And I do not want and I hope they don't involve the ponies with it. So yeah. We are way past time, y'all. I'm so sorry that we got a good momentum going, and then we just went off on a tangent. But at the same time, this was very, very good. I want to thank each and every one of you all for being out here and supporting what we've been talking about tonight. Um, I thank my fellow cast members. I thank you, Ben, for being here with us tonight. It was a pleasure once again to have you on with us, and I thank you very much for being on with us tonight to talk about this. Got a lot of good information and content out of this whole subject tonight. It was a great discussion. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. Appreciate you
It's
coming
super
on.
fun. Thank
Yeah.
you guys for having me on again. I appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah.
It
And
was a
let's
good discussion.
actually, as I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said it's not often that you have a nice discussion about these movies. So
Mhm.
this was
Yeah,
quite
yeah.
enjoyable.
Yeah, yeah. It's a change. It's a change, and hopefully that because it's important to see it in different perspectives. I respect every perspective of everyone that talks about these movies. Um, I have my own perspective, as do you all, and it's about respecting the perspective of whoever's talking about it and just taking it for what it is. But for the most part, like I said, I'm always going to enjoy them as long as they make it enjoyable. And right now, they're making it enjoyable. And they're making it enjoyable now, where I can stay constant with it. You know, Ben, where can we find you?
You can find me at bwtf.com. I'm also on Facebook, Ben's World TF. And you can find me on Twitter at BWTF_Ben and Steam handle on Instagram.
All right, all right, Wolfie, where can we find you?
Eric Von Wolfenstein on all your social media needs. You can also find me here every Friday, hanging out or talking shit.
Okay, Gord.
Hey, right here, Friday nights. So long as I have power.
Right, and congrats on getting that back up,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Yeah, Brink, where can we find you?
At Brinkalizer on Instagram, hanging out in the Realm Facebook group, and of course for the world-renowned Robot segment on ETRs on Monday,
Yes, sir.
and back that HasLab. Let's see what that next tier is.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, it'll happen.
Ryan, you
Oh
excited
yeah.
about the pre-tool on that Scarlet?
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
The Glen.
That's Scarlet right there,
Okay.
and so's that,
We'll see. We'll
and
see.
this,
Hold them all up at once.
and this.
Just
Good
grab the whole
grief, how many?
pile.
That's right. You got a
Here's
whole
Scarlet
gang of
with glasses.
Right.
Here's
Agreed.
Scarlet as
Goodness.
some kind of Star Wars bounty hunter.
I'm sensing a theme.
There's,
Right.
there's Tonzo.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Thanks, Brink. You can find me, Derek B, as Derek Bigsby on your Book of Faces. You can also find me on Instagram as Derek What B. You can also find me here on every other Friday, whether it be the Realmhattan Project or our Rock Hangout. We also do another show called Right Out the Box, and we do that whenever we can. We also have a new show that is the Do You Even Transform Bro, of which is rumored to be coming soon again. So
Oh,
you'll
that's
see
right.
that soon.
There is no ETR this Monday.
Yes.
We have our 400 show coming up, not this week, but the week after.
Mhm.
And I think Dust is planning on doing a little something special,
Yes.
something robot related on Monday.
Nice.
Speaking of
Okay.
anniversaries, in 2 weeks
Yes.
we have the Realmhattan Project first anniversary on June 30th. Am I saying that right,
Yes.
boys?
Yeah.
So be sure to tune in. Also, don't forget to buy your rock boxes, crashboxcustoms.com.
Yes.
Oh,
Roll your
yes.
change.
Oh
It's
yeah.
Rock Box season. Rock Box season is here, and it is officially started last Monday. If you haven't gotten your Rock Box already, crashboxcustoms.com. Go to the BotCon 2023 section, and you can get your Rock Box.
Oh,
You
yeah.
have two different options to get. Two different options of Rock Boxes to get. Get the second one. All righty. Well, thank you everyone once again for being on tonight, and thanks to the chat squad for hanging out with us tonight. You all are awesome, and we will see you all next week in our Rock Hangout. And in 2 weeks, don't forget, like Wolfie said, we have our 1 year anniversary for the Realmhattan Project. So
Good job, guys.
thank you, and we're looking forward to that. We'll see y'all next week, next Friday for the Rock Hangout. Peace, love, soul.
Still hate you, Taylor Swift.